Okay, so the YouTube stream should be up and running now. So I'll put a link into there in just a little bit here, so you guys can watch us over there in the event that you're not able to watch us on Facebook or you lose our connection. So this is the current situation. If you're just now joining us on YouTube, good afternoon. Current time is 1:49. I'm forecasting it done here. The rest of our team is also in the comments section and also kind of talking to me here through chat. So we'll continue to watch things very closely. We have a tornado warning that's ongoing, and yeah, that latest scan there, we're going to take a closer look at that in just a second here. All right, so let's zoom in real close now. I'm going to switch it over to a secondary source here in just a second because I want to get a very close look at this from the terminal Doppler to Cincinnati. Actually, let's just stay with Wilmington because I think this may actually give a little bit slightly better look at it. So you guys see these little spots of really dark purple here. This is concerning to me that we may have to increase our threat for hail with this one. This is now going to be pretty much on Indiana Route 101, crossing I-74 here between Sunman and Batesville. If you're on I-74, this is a pretty dangerous situation. You don't really want to be caught out in this. This is going to be a really dangerous situation. If you happen to be out driving in this, please find another alternative. If you're coming out of Cincinnati on I-74, I'd wait a little bit. And likewise, if you're coming out of Indianapolis and Greensburg on I-74, I'd wait a little bit and let this tornado-warned storm cross and pass through the area. You've just given another 10 minutes or so, and I have to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if we see another tornado warning here very soon. I'm actually going to kind of bring this up just a little bit here for you. So Weather Service in Wilmington is monitoring weak rotation in northern Adams County and also down into southwestern Scioto County. So things are starting to pick up here just a little bit, and I'm not too surprised by that whatsoever. Brady TS, I see your comment there about Pike, Highland, and Adams counties. We're watching that. Scioto County as well. We're going to have to watch that one as well. So let's take a quick gander over that way. Down here into Scioto County, Highland County, Adams County. These areas we could see new warnings issued in short order. We'll just have to kind of watch and see what happens at this particular time. And now a severe thunderstorm watch has just been issued. So let me see if I can get... Okay, so that will populate as soon as they elect what counties they want to throw in there. You will see that pop up and it will be pink. So we'll see when they elect to throw some counties in there in just a second. All right, so again, at this time, let's kind of get you reset a little bit and move back into the tornado warning. And there's a couple different things of interest I do want you to pay attention to. Number one, we may be seeing a little bit of a rear inflow notch here, kind of on the back side of this, right in here. And one of these things I was actually learning just the other day, and at one of our symposiums, is that sometimes these rear inflow notches can be a sign we may have a tornado developing, or there may already be one in progress. So that's going to be interesting to kind of note and watch as we go through the rest of the afternoon here, and we'll kind of see what we get. So again, right now, that's the area of concern that I have there near Sunman, in between there and Batesville. This is now on I-74, so that's a pretty dangerous situation right now. Hopefully there's not a lot of folks traveling in this, and hopefully folks heeded the warnings and got a chance to find a more substantial shelter. Again, if you are in a mobile home, you need to find a more substantial shelter, getting out of that mobile home as quickly as you can and trying to find somewhere else to protect yourself. Mobile homes are not a very good shelter whatsoever for any kind of protection from a potential tornado. So I'm going to turn the drawing there off for you just for a second. And let's kind of zoom things out and kind of give you a little bit of a regional set as to where this is going next. So again, putting this in the track for you down the line. This will be moving across the Ohio border here just after the 2 o'clock hour. The movement on this is to the northeast at about 55 miles per hour. So this is moving very quickly, and there are other cells in this broken line that are worth monitoring, and any one of these could go warned at any time. So we're going to have a lot of monitoring to do for the next few hours. But again, we're going to stick with you here until this tornado warning has been at least allowed to expire. Again, there has been a severe thunderstorm watch issued, and as soon as I get those counties, we will let you know. There are several special weather statements now being issued as we are continuing to monitor things very closely. The Weather Service is also watching these, and again, any one of these could go warned at any time. Okay, I'm looking at something else here real quick too. Okay, looks like they're watching for another watch downstream in Kentucky. So again, things are going to start picking up here for a little bit. Let's go up here to the storm in Randolph County, about to cross into Darke County. This one has my attention. Why? And we talked about this a little bit. It's isolated, and it's kind of by itself. We're watching that just to kind of see if anything's going to develop any further. And they have now started to, it looks like, lay out the watch box. So as soon as I get that to populate here, we'll let you know. But it looks like they've elected to issue a watch for, looks like most, if not all, of the Wilmington area and most of the Northern Indiana office, and also parts of Indianapolis and even parts of the Cleveland office. And that will go until 9 p.m. tonight. So we do have a severe thunderstorm watch out. And we'll see that hopefully come up here on the screen in just a couple of moments. If not, then I'll populate another image to kind of overlay here for you. So again, this is what we're monitoring right now across the rest of the region. We're watching a storm down into Scioto County that has our attention. We've been talking about that here for just a little bit now. We're also monitoring this really kind of developing broken line of showers and thunderstorms across southeast Indiana. And again, it's worth noting that any one of these storms could go severe at any time. We may see tornado warnings issued today. We may see a plethora of severe thunderstorm warnings even issued from time to time. So this is of concern for everybody across the area. Let me see if I can get that watch. There's the watch now. And you can kind of see those counties in pink. These are the ones that are included in this severe thunderstorm watch. This goes until 9 p.m. There is a concern for damaging winds up to 65 miles per hour. Obviously, there is a tornado risk, and we've talked about this from time to time today. We will have to deal with the potential for a few tornadoes, so just kind of bear with us. We're going to get you through this just like we do every other time we have a severe weather event, but I want you to be prepared to take shelter this afternoon and into this evening, as you may have to protect yourself from a tornado warning at times, or even a severe thunderstorm warning. So we're watching this line of thunderstorms, and I'm kind of surprised they didn't extend the watch down into north central Kentucky, but we'll leave that as it may for the time being. Again, we are watching also into northeast Indiana. Let's jump up here real quick to kind of give you an update. We are seeing and watching a very interesting signature now over Huntington County, Indiana. This is where a TVS has been indicated. So this would perhaps, let's see if we can get a closer look at this and see. Yeah, there's certainly, so I'm going to set this up here on our secondary source, and I want to switch over to velocity now out of the Northern Indiana office, because there is something of interest down here in southern Huntington County. So let's flip you over real quick to our secondary source, and as you can see, we're looking in Huntington County now. So Huntington is up there towards the top of your screen. I'll kind of bring that into view. Where we're monitoring here, and here's the Huntington-Wells County line. There is some rotation here in between Lancaster and Plumtree. This may be a little bit elevated and off the ground at this point, but those of you on I-69 between State Road 5 and US 224, this is a concern here because this is developing and this is starting to grow some intensity, so we are going to have to watch this very closely. I'll flip you over to the reflectivity side so you can kind of see what we're looking at here. But again, I do expect we could see a new warning here for Huntington County, and even potentially down here into portions of Wells County. Let me take you over and I'll flip this over to kind of a little bit of a different view for you. Okay, we'll leave that right there as it is. So you can see this is the thunderstorm of interest, and what we're going to have to watch, let me turn on the drawing tool here, a little bit potentially of an inflow notch or a hook developing here south of Huntington. This is way down in the southern portion of Huntington County, Indiana, northeastern Grant County. This may cross into Wells County here in the next little bit. So let's watch and see if this develops into anything, but we'll kind of leave that right where it is at this time. Let's take you back down to our tornado warned storm, which is obviously of number one interest. We still have this ongoing for another 3 minutes for portions of Dearborn and Franklin and Ripley counties. I will say this looks just a little less organized, but I'm still a little concerned about a rear inflow notch right in here coming in on the back side of this thunderstorm. So this is of concern. We now do have a severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Wells and Allen counties up in northeast Indiana. So we'll take a look at that one in just a second, and I may see if John wants to join us now that he has a warning for his neck of the woods. All right, so I'll see if I can get him in here. Okay, so the tornado warning has now been allowed to expire a couple minutes early here for southeast Indiana and that's a good sign. That tells us that they're not getting anything of interest to report at this time. I'll be curious to see if they're going to reissue that, though, coming up shortly. Let's take you up to the north now, where we have a severe thunderstorm warning that has been tagged a tornado possible for quarter-size hail and damaging winds to 60 miles per hour now. This is going to be for southeastern Whitley County, northwestern Wells County, most of Huntington County, and about half of Allen County in Indiana until 2:45 p.m. The area of interest is going to be this thunderstorm, which, again, we were just looking at this a few minutes ago. This includes the communities of Warren, Markle, Roanoke, Uniondale, Ossian, Fort Wayne. Not quite to Cherubusco, but it's close. This also includes New Haven down the road, and maybe if it lasts long enough, it may cross into northwest Ohio. So this is of concern here because look at the amount of purple. There's certainly likely is some hail falling with this. Let's go over to velocity so we can kind of get a good look at this. This is the area of rotation. We've been watching this now for a few frames, and this is down here along I-69 north of the Warren exit, and this will be heading up towards Markle here very soon. And reading what the Weather Service in northern Indiana is monitoring. Let's see here. Police send reports. Okay. Yeah, so we're watching all kinds of different things here, and it looks like now in Decatur County, there was a report of half-dollar size hail. So that's interesting, and that was back about 5 minutes ago. So we may see a new warning coming up for southeast Indiana here in short order. So I'll tell you what, right now, folks, while we're here, just is a good time to remind you that, you know, at this point, while we don't have an active tornado warning, and I'm going to switch the lower box there for you so you can kind of be put at ease just a little bit. I do want to remind everybody that it is important today that if you have a report that you send it to us, and again, if we're not talking about your area, I would recommend that you just kind of hang tight and we'll get to everybody else just as soon as we can. But this is the area of concern right now: Huntington County, Whitley County, Wells County, and Allen County until 2:45. A severe thunderstorm warning that has been tagged as tornado possible at this time. So we're going to have to watch and see how that kind of comes about there. Give me just 1 second. It looks like part of what I was looking at here may have dropped off. Let me try this one more time here. There we go. Okay, so now we should all see that there. So again, now we have lost the tornado warning, so now we're back to just a severe thunderstorm warning. And again, this includes portions of northeast Indiana. Now this cell is moving off to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. I think it's a little slow based on some of the other projections and some of the other movements we've been seeing this afternoon. But if you live up in Fort Wayne, heads up, this is coming right towards you up I-69. It'd be a very, very busy afternoon, it looks like, potentially, so we now have that watch in place as well. Give me just a second here to kind of overlook a couple of other things. We're watching all kinds of different things here this afternoon. Okay, some people are saying the YouTube stream's a little blurry. I apologize about that. I don't really have a way to control that. If I need to take it off, I will, but I see we do have some folks on YouTube watching it, so again, good afternoon to everybody there. All right, so real quick, this is where we're at right now. We have a severe thunderstorm watch that is been issued until 9 o'clock this evening for those counties that are highlighted in pink. So for those of you watching in the Mid-Ohio Valley, that's going to be Hocking County. And then otherwise, it's basically the western half of Ohio and the first 2 rows of counties in Indiana. So that's going to be, and there's a few counties in Michigan too, but this is the area of interest right now, is going to be that area highlighted in pink. We could see damaging winds. We could see some gusts up to 60 miles per hour, even a little bit higher than that at times as we head through the rest of the afternoon. So we'll continue to watch things, and we'll see how things progress. Weather Service in Wilmington, as we're kind of continue to monitor that previous storm that had a tornado warning on it, that no longer has a warning on it. They are still closely watching that, I imagine, as well. And again, guys, we may just be getting started with some different things this afternoon. The lightning count is starting to intensify. You can see 138 strikes, and that's an indication that we could be seeing some things really starting to grow here over the next little while. Let's take a look at this single cell again here into Randolph County, here near Union City. If anybody's watching us from Darke County, and they've just issued a new warning now for, okay, it's down in Kentucky mainly. This particular cell here has my interest here near Union City because as we look around, there's nothing around it. So I'm very interested to see. We have a new severe thunderstorm right now for Hamilton County, Ohio. We'll go take a look at that one in just a second. I think that maybe just a slightly poorly drawn polygon, but we'll look at that in a second. But here into Randolph and portions of northwestern Darke County, this storm is isolated, and it honestly, if it wanted to drop and really start to produce something, it probably has a good potential to, just because there's nothing else competing for moisture or energy right now in this particular area. So this will move off towards the northeast. Those of you in Mercer County and southeastern Jay County, I would be prepared and watching this one very closely here over the next few minutes. A new severe thunderstorm warning now for Ross, Pike, and Scioto County. So let's jump down to the south. Looks like that's actually really just for Pike and Scioto. I'm not sure why it said Ross, but looks like the polygon just touches Ross County there. So this thunderstorm now here for portions of Pike and Scioto County. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for penny-sized hail and winds to 60 miles per hour. This goes until 2:30, and the main concern here looks as if we're going to be monitoring a cell with, look at all that purple here near Lucasville. That is very interesting. That's definitely a sign of some hail, at the very least, and the radar is at least detecting the potential there for some half-inch hail, and we'll watch and see how that progresses over the next little bit. Okay, so they are now saying there's a 3-body scatter spike with the storm in Scioto County. Let's see if we can find a way to show you what that looks like. And there is a little bit of rotation noted here too. I do want to point that out. That is very interesting. I'm going to assume it's potentially maybe... I can't seem to find that exact location there for the 3-body scatter spike. Looks like there's maybe another new severe thunderstorm warning now up in northeast Indiana, so we're going to have to bounce around here for just a little bit. I'm going to be sharing this video around for a couple of different places, so bear with me for just a few minutes. Okay. Yep, so we're also going to be bringing in a new audience here in just a second. We're going to be bringing in those of you watching on the Mid-Ohio Valley Weather Updates, so bear with me for just a second here. We're going to be bringing in a couple of actually new audiences now across the board, so bear with us here for just a couple of minutes while we get this added in here. We'll have to bring in some new audiences. This happens from time to time. Alright, so those of you now watching on the Mid-Ohio Valley Weather Update, good afternoon to you. I'm forecaster Nick Dunn here live in the Weather Center. We are tracking a severe thunderstorm warning that is definitely growing very quickly across parts of Scioto County and about to move into Pike and eventually Jackson counties. And we're going to have to watch this cell very closely for the potential of a tornado. In addition to that, the Weather Service in Wilmington is concerned on the fact that there's a 3-body scatter spike, which means there's a very good sign for large hail. If you're here in Lucasville or north of Rosemount right now, I would be very interested to see what you are seeing down there. If there's any large hail, please send it to us. Patty says currently it's bad in Lucasville. It was cloudy, then sunny, and now it's getting bad, but the lights are flickering. I imagine you're also likely seeing some hail, especially if you're on the eastern sides there of Scioto County. There is also a new severe thunderstorm warning now for Wells, Adams, and Allen counties in Indiana. Tornado possible, hail to 1 inch in diameter, winds to 60 miles per hour. So things are starting to get just a little bit on the busy side for sure at this point in time. So we're checking to see that we're live on all the platforms that we need to be live on at this point. And then now we have another new severe thunderstorm warning for Vinton and Jackson counties for penny-sized hail and winds to 60 miles per hour. So certainly a concern that we are starting to see an uptick in these warnings, and that's why it's very important that you are keeping everybody, if you know somebody that's in the path of these, keep everybody ahead and just kind of keep everybody informed of what you're seeing out there, and make sure that they're checking out our Facebook page or our YouTube stream. Again, we're live on YouTube right now as well on the Ohio News and Weather YouTube, just so you have another outlet in case you happen to lose us here on Facebook. So those of you that are now watching on the Mid-Ohio Valley, now that I can see that audience is fully brought in, let's go ahead and get you up to date here real quick, and then we'll bounce up to Northeast Indiana. We're going to kind of bounce back and forth a little bit. So bear with us here a little bit this afternoon. The Weather Service now tracking a severe thunderstorm, and I'm really starting to see a sign of some rotation here into Scioto County. And in fact, I'll tell you what, if you were in southeastern Pike County near Beaver, or in Jackson County from the city of Jackson and points west, I would be ready to go to your tornado safe place in the event that this cell continues to pick up its intensity. We're starting to see some of these reds and greens are starting to get pretty close together, and we're also seeing what we would say an inflow notch certainly here across portions of northeastern Scioto County. Let me draw this for you. it's going to look like this right there. That's the area of concern. You can see where the storm is starting to make almost what we would call a 6-hook. And this is why I'm a little concerned that we could see some tornado warning issuances here in short order if this cell continues. Now, if there are no reports of anything, then we may not see anything else at this point. We'll just have to kind of watch and see what happens. But that's the area of concern right now there in DeSoto County. And this is why we want you to go and be in your safe place. Just be indoors, number one, but be prepared. If you're in southeastern Pike County, or perhaps portions of western Jackson County, and even northeastern Scioto County here north of 139, don't be surprised if you have to go to your tornado safe place. Here's a quick track for you. Jackson at 230, Wellston 239, MacArthur 248. And I caution you, that track might be a little too far to the northeast, but again, we got everybody in the path there in case the storm wobbles just a little bit. Moving to Athens potentially, if this holds together at a little after the 3 o'clock hour. So we'll have to watch and see what happens over the next several minutes here with this. Okay. All right, so real quick, I do want to bounce up to northeast Indiana because we have a couple of warnings up here that are tagged tornado possible, and then we'll bounce back down to southern Ohio. The newest warning, as I said here, is for portions of Wells and Allen and Adams counties in northeast Indiana until 2:45. Both of these storms now, if you're watching us around the Fort Wayne area, both of these storms are now tagged as tornado possible, and essentially what that means is that a tornado is possible, but there's not necessarily enough evidence on radar to continue to support the potential for a tornado at this point in time. So that's what we're tracking right now. The current time is 2:10 p.m. I'll give you a quick updated track on this one since the track does not appear to want to update from the Weather Service. I'll move that off to the northeast here. So make sure we're not missing any information here. Okay, we'll move this off to the northeast. A little bit quicker of a speed. I may have to reset this just a little bit because I have it set to go out 2 hours. And I don't think we need to do that. So give me just 1 second here while I adjust this. We're going to bump it down to about 60 minutes, and that should make it go a little bit quicker. So over the next hour, line number 1 that has just crossed through Huntington and is moving off to the northeast, we're going to move it at about 55 miles per hour just to give you more than enough heads up. Ossian at 220, Churubusco 225, Fort Wayne at 229, Garrett at 232, and moving to Auburn at 244. And then the secondary cell that has just kind of went severe warned down to the south near Bluffton. This will cross through Decatur, and again moving off to the northeast, Veracruz 211, Decatur 221, Monroeville 227, and then moving into Paulding by 248 if that line holds together. I do want to jump back to Scioto County real quick because we continue to see signs of rotation. This would be certainly a sign now that we have a supercell thunderstorm in progress, or at least in its developing stages. Look at the amount of very dark purple here. Radar now saying definitely 1-inch hail marker being noted, and we're going to have to watch and see if this continues to grow upscale. There have been no severe weather reports to this point, but there certainly is a concern that we may start to see some severe weather reports. So if you live here near Beaver, especially just to the southwest of town, I wouldn't be surprised if this moves in a certain direction. There could be a brief period of accumulating hail. Yeah, and what I mean by that is hail may actually cover the ground for a short time this afternoon in this area. We're just going to have to watch and see what happens over the next several minutes. Okay? And I appreciate that. Ken pointing out, yes, there is a little bit of a drop-off in reflectivity on the back side of this, and there's also a little bit of an inflow still kind of ongoing here in northeastern Scioto County. We're going to stick with this one here for just a few minutes. I'm really curious to see if the Weather Service is going to monitor for a potential upgrade here from a severe thunderstorm warning to a tornado warning. I definitely think the hail on this one could certainly go a little bit higher. So, again, we're watching the cell very closely. If you live in Jackson or Vinton counties, this cell means business right now. As you can see, we're watching this moving off to the northeast pretty quickly. I will probably mute that sound in just a couple of seconds. They had also noted that there was a 3-body scatter spike with this, and what that means is that's just a signature we look for on radar, but the Weather Service in Wilmington noted out that that is a great indicator for large hail. Certainly agree with them on that. Let's go over to velocity real quick because we continue to see signs of rotation about to cross into southeastern Pike County south of Beaver. Now I will say radar coverage in this area gets a little sketchy at times, so this is why we tell you on these days, and yeah, that scan looks even stronger. That just now came in. That was as of 2:12, so less than a minute ago. Yeah, that's a little concerning. So if you're in Jackson and if you're in Beaver, just again continue to be on the doorstep to go to your tornado safe shelters. I really would not be surprised to see this potentially go tornado warned. It's going to be really interesting to see. It's really interesting to see what happens over the next few minutes here. So give me just 1 second. I'm also going to be putting together here shortly, and maybe we can get one of our team members to do this. We do have an email where you guys can send us in weather reports at any time of the day, any time throughout the rest of the day today, as we continue to watch these showers and storms very closely. Okay, there's some different things going on in NWS chat. Just kind of watching some things there. Okay. All right, so again, right now, if you're just now joining us, our current area of interest is going to be down here into portions of Pike, Scioto, Jackson, and Vinton counties. This cell is very dangerous, very strong. The lightning count just alone on this thunderstorm in the last half hour is 32 lightning strikes, and that's been going up a little bit. And we continue to see signs of an inflow notch, and it's just not quite wrapping up enough potentially, in my opinion, for right now. But that's going to be right there. That is what we call, I'll put the INF on the screen there, that is the inflow notch. And what we are trying to see what happens is if anything from the backside can wrap around enough to where we could see a potential for a tornado. And of course, we're also seeing a little bit of a drop off in reflectivity on the backside, and perhaps maybe a little bit of a rear inflow jet coming in on the backside potentially as well. So all those things coming together tells us that this is a very strong and very mature thunderstorm capable of producing damaging winds and some hail. So again, that's heading up towards Jackson, Wellston, Hamden, and MacArthur in the next little bit. Also, we're watching a couple of thunderstorms near Cincinnati, and this one here near Florence has my attention. This may head up into the Cincinnati metro here within the next little bit, so just kind of be prepared for that. I'm going to adjust something real quick here on my end. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's also take you now back up to northeast Indiana, where we have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. These are tagged tornado possible, and those of you watching the Middle Ohio Valley, you're going to have to bear with us today a little bit as we kind of bounce back and forth. Now, there is one cell here in western Adams County coming out of Wells County. Start to see some of the exact same signatures here, a little bit of an inflow notch. Let's go to velocity, and sure enough, there's some broad rotation here near Veracruz, and that's heading up to the northeast. So those of you in Decatur, be prepared, as we could see some new information coming in there. Potentially we could see, okay, a tornado watch is now likely for southeast Ohio and West Virginia in very short time. So we're going to have to watch that close as well. But here in Decatur, this cell here actually has a very well-defined hook echo on the southeastern flank of this line. And this cell is kind of embedded a little bit within this line segment. So those of you in Decatur, be prepared to go to your safe place. In fact, at this point, since you have a severe thunderstorm warning that is tagged tornado possible, let's just go ahead and treat it as if it were a tornado warning. Go ahead and go to your safe place now. Monroeville, Decatur, Hoagland. I'm very familiar with these locations out here as I used to live up here in northeast Indiana. But go ahead and go to your safe places right now. That is a very dangerous looking signature. And while we're not seeing anything on correlation coefficient, that's a good sign. I stress that that signature right there, combined with the velocity, is very concerning at this time as you're heading up towards Decatur. Okay. Also, again, we're monitoring for a tornado watch is likely now for southeast Ohio and into West Virginia and parts of Kentucky in short order. So we will be seeing that very soon, likely as well. Okay. Just kind of checking a couple different things here. All right, so let's get you back into Scioto County. This storm continues to remain very intense, and I'm really surprised that the hail marker is not higher on this. They still only have penny-sized hail. I really think, I'll tell you what, if you're in Jackson, Colton, Hamden, MacArthur, get your vehicles inside in a sturdy structure right now. This is a very strong indication of large, potentially damaging hail. You can also, we're still watching this inflow notch on the southeastern quadrant of this. I would be surprised if we don't see a tornado warning with this if it continues to intensify over the next couple of frames. So this is what we're watching here. South of Beaver, this is in far southeastern Pike County, exiting Scioto County and entering Jackson County. Again, radar coverage at times here is just a little bit sparse here. and we have to kind of watch this at times. So Jackson, get your cars in the garage now if you can, or perhaps under your carport. MacArthur, do the same thing. Hamden, Wellston, even though you're kind of on the edge of things, I would still kind of take a course of least regret and just get your car indoors right away. And for those of you, I can see some comments are getting a little upset with some things. Folks understand that right now our resources are me. Okay, my name is Forecaster Nick Dunn. We've been watching storms here over an hour now, and we've been on the air here since a little after 1:30. And just understand that we have to bounce back and forth. There are multiple storms that need our attention, and we have to bounce back and forth from time to time. So just bear with us. We will get you through this, and we will get you the absolute latest information as it becomes available. Very strong, severe thunderstorm now. Again, I'm going to call this a supercell thunderstorm now, coming out of Pike County, moving into western Jackson County. We continue to see signs of an inflow notch. We go over to velocity. We continue to see signs of at least weak rotation here. And I would not be surprised if the lightning in this and the thunder is just absolutely intense. Based on some of the lightning counts, you're only at about 26, but I really would not be surprised. This is likely a very loud thunderstorm with large hail. Radar indicating $half size hail, so that's a 50-cent piece. And the probability of seeing severe hail, which is 1 inch or higher, currently at 80%. So that's a little concerning for us, as we're going to have to monitor that very closely and kind of see how things progress here over the next several minutes. We're going to reset our ticker real quick at the bottom as well, just so you can see the latest information. All of the warnings are at the bottom of your screen. They're crawling, and we're going to monitor. I'm actually going to update that to recycle here every 2 minutes instead of every 60 seconds, as we have seen kind of an uptick in the warnings. And I just want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to see their warning at the bottom of the screen. So you should now see a new updated ticker at the bottom for you. So again, if you're just now joining us, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Pike County. Okay, and they now have finally upped the hail to $half size. And this is going to be near and moving through Beaver. Severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Pike and northeastern Scioto County for another 10 minutes here. Okay. All right, I'm really wanting to make sure we keep track of all of our warnings. Then also a severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson and Vinton counties here until 2:45. That's a concern as well. Severe thunderstorm warning now. Okay, they've now went ahead and upped it to quarter-size hail instead of penny size for Vinton and Jackson counties. This may be a destructive hailstorm in progress. Scioto County, you are now clear of any severe thunderstorm activity. There are some general showers moving up out of Lewis and Greenup counties in Kentucky that will graze portions of Scioto County through the next half hour, but your severe threat appears to have ended, at least temporarily. Again, the greatest concern right now is this supercell thunderstorm here in western Jackson County. There's Ohio Route 32. There's Beaver. There's also Ohio Route 776 in this area. So we're watching all these things very closely. I'm also going to pull up some different things here to try to get you some better landmarks as to where this particular cell is over. And again, I understand some folks are a little upset with some things. I'm sorry about your luck, okay? We have to bounce back and forth between thunderstorms today. You're just going to have to be patient with us, and there's not much else I really want to say about that at this time. So again, if you're here near Beaver, that's going to be near the New Zion Church, Bethel Church, Markham Store, Liberty General Store, all those locations in the immediate path of this thunderstorm as it continues to progress off very quickly here to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour. Potential here for damaging hail to $half size and damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. So that's storm number one of really immediate interest. Of interest up here in the northeast Indiana and approaching northwest Ohio, we had a really dangerous looking signature a short time ago coming out of Veracruz, and it still looks dangerous. If you're in Decatur, I hope you're in a safe place at this point, because there's certainly still some signs of broad rotation, but this signature on radar is still very compelling. Still seeing a little bit of an inflow notch here, perhaps just a touch weaker than when we were up here just a few minutes ago. But I stress to you that this is important that we continue to move this off to the northeast here. Decatur, Monroeville, Hoagland, Poe, all those locations need to be in a safe place and indoors until this storm passes. The other severe thunderstorm warning that includes parts of downtown Fort Wayne and the Fort Wayne International Airport. This one also looks still very strong with gusty winds. You can see that on the velocities now. There's even now a couple of other areas of rotation that are worth noting here. Again, while they are broad, it is worth noting here that east of Ossian, we're seeing some signs kind of really all along this southern line segment. This one appears to be becoming the more dominant one from the south sides of Fort Wayne at I-469 east of the Fort Wayne International Airport near the US 27, US 33 exit, down Bluffton Road, or otherwise known as Indiana Route 1, and along US 224. That's lifting off to the northeast. That appears to be the stronger of the line segments right now that are being warned across northeast Indiana and approaching the northwestern Ohio state line. So just be prepared for that here over the next handful of minutes. And just, again, if you're out traveling this afternoon, if you're on US 30 and you're looking back to the southwest, or if you're in Van Wert and looking back to the west, probably a very dark line of clouds, and you may even see a shelf cloud with some of this afternoon. This has been kind of developing and really strengthening over the last half of an hour, so I would expect these storms are rather healthy at this point in time. And then another cell down here to Jay County with some large hail also potentially now being noted north of Portland along US 27 and moving into Bryant. This one could also have a warning issued here very soon. So a lot to watch over the next handful of minutes here. Let's get you back to southeast Ohio now. Pike County, Scioto County, Jackson County. We continue to see signs of rotation, signs of large hail. This is a really dangerous storm, and this is not one that I would mess around with. We continue to see I would almost call this a black color on the radar, and this is really concerning. Look at these DBZ values of up to 70. I would not be surprised if there was larger than $half size hail falling right now in this particular thunderstorm. That is intense. That is some really intense stuff there. So if you're in western Jackson County, it looks like downtown Jackson, you may escape the worst of this, and then this may kind of remain over rural portions of Jackson County. Now, it is going to cross US 35 as you exit out of Richmond-Dale and heading down towards Jackson. So if you're on US 35 right now, I would be finding a more substantial shelter with some kind of protection for your vehicle, because you are about to get blasted with some very large hail and some strong winds. Let's see here. Okay, just continue to watch several different things here. Looks like Tyler's trying to get a view of those storms in northeast Indiana. Wow, look at the latest scan here. This is just impressive. A couple landmarks here for you. The jewelry store down here near Oakland, Big Rock Cabins, Liberty State Wildlife Area. These locations are getting blasted right now with very large hail, potentially to $half size, and also some very strong winds. Velocity still showing signs of rotation of a supercell type thunderstorm, and it may be just a little bit off in terms of the location. The good news is correlation coefficient is clean, but I'll tell you folks, this is a dangerous thunderstorm and not one to play around with. Lightning count in the last half hour has jumped to 50, so this is a sign that the storm is definitely maturing, and we're watching this very closely. Okay. So real quick, we are also awaiting a tornado watch to be issued for southeast Ohio. Keep in mind, Jackson and Vinton counties, there's actually not even a watch for you right now. So that's certainly concerning, and sometimes this happens where storms are riding the edge of a watch area, and sometimes if it's riding the edge of the Weather Service offices like we're seeing here, sometimes these things happen where you see storms will sometimes exit out of the watch area. So, and also those that appear to Hocking County, this is of concern too, as that supercell thunderstorm continues to progress off towards the northeast. Northern Indiana, they continue severe thunderstorm warning. There's a phone call now about a wall cloud between Ossian and Markle as of 1 minute ago. So there's also pea-sized hail now at the Jay County Airport. Not surprising there. Let's jump up real quick to northeast Indiana, as again we have a report of a wall cloud. That is going to be Wells County, is where we're seeing a report of that. In between Ossian and Markle. See if I can try to get... Okay, I think it may be on the back side of this initial line segment coming through and about to move right over the Fort Wayne International Airport. Would be my guess, if I had to guess as to what that was. If there was anything in progress there. Okay. Alright, so again, we're still watching these storms too, and we had a report of pea-sized hail in Jay County moving through Portland. North of Portland now, that'll be moving into southeastern Adams County. And what I'm interested to see now, this storm that we've been watching since it was north of Richmond It's moving up through Jay County. It's almost been moving due north. And that's also interesting. Those two cells are about to merge right over Jay County. And that it's going to be tough to see what that's going to do. That may allow the storms to weaken, may allow the storm to intensify a little bit further. So if you're in Adams and Mercer and Van Wert counties, these two cells are about to merge and they're heading right up your way. So be prepared for that. If you're south of Decatur, Indiana, and again, that cell there, Decatur, still looks ominous with a little bit of an inflow hook to it and some damaging wind signatures coming up there on the radar as well. So lots to unpack and lots to monitor here through the rest of the afternoon. Let's get you back into southeast Ohio now, where we have that really dangerous supercell coming through Jackson County. And boy, that just continues to look downright scary at this point. Jackson County Speedway, Canner's Cave, Dollar General there in Colton. There's some areas that are either getting hit or about to get hit. And then on down the line here, you have the Richland Furnace State Forest. That's up near north of Route 327. We're kind of getting into really the rural portions of Jackson County, trying to get you some landmarks here so you can kind of be a little bit more familiar with what's going on. And hopefully that will kind of help you understand where we're at and what's going on at this point in time. So does anybody have any reports? Lightning, hail, wind, even if it's just sunshine and quiet conditions, or maybe you're just getting some rain, go ahead and drop your reports in the comments section here. I'm going to try to go back through and see what I can find on some of your other reports in the last few minutes. Okay. Yeah, the color's certainly a little scary at this point down here in Jackson County. And this is what we would call, this is not necessarily the most classic supercell looking thunderstorm that I've ever seen, but this is not what we're used to seeing here across Ohio. This has been an elongated track of very large hail, and in fact, let's go ahead and pop up the VIL product, or the vertically integrated liquid. Let me see if I can try it. There we go. Okay, and the vertically integrated liquid, this is giving us a look at the hail core, and this is over the last several minutes. Okay, so that's a concern. And again, the tornado watch is imminent. And that's going to be for southeast Ohio and into West Virginia. So we'll have two watches ongoing. Weather Service out of Wilmington is monitoring as a line from eastern Indiana and into the tri-state moves north-northeast. It has an appearance of merging, and this could help create swaths of damaging winds and tornadoes. So lots to unpack and lots to monitor here over the next several minutes. So just continue to stand by with us, and we'll continue to monitor things very closely here over the next several minutes. Okay. Okay, so Tornado Watch will include all of the Pittsburgh Weather Forecast Office in eastern Ohio and Charleston. I can at least tell you that at this point. I have not seen the formal watch box issued yet. That should be coming any time now, but this VIL product is just downright scary here west of Jackson. Coming right up now north of Jackson as of the latest scan. Looks like the city of Jackson is kind of spared, at least from the very large hail, but Colton, Hamden, MacArthur, you may not get spared from this. So just get your cars indoors if you haven't already. Colton, your time is up. Hamden, MacArthur still have a little bit of time left. So go back to velocity. Still seeing signs of strong winds, and definitely that might be the three. Yeah, there's your three-body scatter spike, it looks like, on velocity too. So some of these reds and greens are coming way out to the south and east of this, and this will be an indication of where that we could be seeing that three-body scatter spike, and that's an indication of very large hail, and that would also be the potential for accumulating hail at this point. Look at the latest scan. This looks even more ominous now, just north of Jackson. Let me get you a little bit of a landmark here for you. Okay, so that's going to be near Oakland. The Lake Catherine State Nature Preserve is up in this area. You have an auto glass store, Cross and Sons Farmer Equipment. Okay, those, if you happen to know any of those landmarks, that's where this is crossing. This is a very ominous looking supercell, and this is by itself, folks. As it continues to move off towards the northeast, yes, there's other rain and thunderstorms to the north of it, but it's not moving due north per se. It's riding to the northeast. So Athens, Chauncey, Nelsonville, get ready. This storm looks like it's going to maintain its intensity and its strength as it continues to progress northeast here over the next several minutes. So, yikes, that is just dangerous. That's not something that we see around here all the time. We get these classic looking supercell structures. That's just dangerous looking. That's not something that we are used to seeing here across the Ohio Valley. This is something more that we see out in the Great Plains. Okay, a tornado watch now has been initiated. We will see that will include the Charleston and Pittsburgh offices only at this point. So again, tornado watch has been issued, and we will see that coming up here shortly. Okay. All right, so let's get you back up to Northeast Indiana real quick. The severe thunderstorm warning near Cincinnati has been allowed to expire, but the Weather Service in Wilmington is monitoring this line of thunderstorms very closely from Richmond down towards Cincinnati, showing some signs of merging, and that may ultimately produce some swaths of damaging winds and perhaps even a few tornadoes here this afternoon. So that's of concern. Let's get you up to around the Fort Wayne areas. Things are getting a little rocky and loud right now in Allen County, Wells County, and Adams County. A couple different line segments moving through, and some hail being indicated now south of Monroeville, right along US 33 and just to the north of there in Decatur as you're coming out of Allen County and into Adams County. Be prepared for that. Movement on this one to the north-northeast at about speeds of 40 miles per hour roughly. So Woodburn, Monroeville, heading in towards Hicksville, maybe as far east as Paulding and Cecil. Just be prepared. This may also show some signs of merging and could ultimately show some signs of an increased look at damaging wind potential if that continues to organize. Okay, another strong storm in Williams County that is moving into Michigan at this point. So if you're near, it's going to be north of Bryan, north of Montpelier, there into what is that up there? North of Eden and west of Pioneer. You may see some small hail with that one. Okay. All right, now back in here to Jay and Adams County. You can see these two have definitely converged now into one cell, and we'll continue to go through this process over the next few frames. This one, folks, could turn into a warning in very short order. It almost looks like a butterfly on the radar. You can almost see where it is kind of starting to show those signs emerging. Definitely some signs of hail here. There have already been some reports of pea-sized hail. Weather Service radar showing now potentially up to penny-sized hail. So we are starting to border severe thunderstorm warning criteria. And I'm surprised there's not even a special weather statement out for this one. So that is concerning at this point in time. Okay. It looks like, maybe Cleveland may get in on the tornado watch. That's interesting. Either they are or they're not. I've not seen that yet. Weather Service in Pittsburgh issues tornado watch until 10 p.m. for all of their counties. Not surprising whatsoever. And so we'll get that watch posted to our pages here very soon. We continue to monitor things very closely. Zach is watching that storm near Decatur. Again, that has shown some signs of rotation from time to time. It still shows some signs of even some small hail. I'm not sure exact location at this point, but I know he's looking back towards Decatur and watching that cell very closely. Very nice looking view there. Thanks, Zach, for sending that in. I know I did not get a chance to pop that on the screen, but let's get you back now down to southeastern Ohio until 2:45, severe thunderstorm warning. By the way, there's the tornado watch now. So it encompasses, there are a few Cleveland counties in. So you have Ashland County over towards Stark County and Mahoning County, and points to the south. This is now a tornado watch until 10 p.m. We'll have to watch and see how this progresses. I'm interested as to seeing why the original watch was not a tornado watch also, but I guess we'll see how that kind of progresses with time. This also includes down into West Virginia. All of our West Virginia counties are included in this tornado watch. It goes until 10 p.m. tonight for the potential seeing damaging wind gusts, large hail, and some tornadoes. All right, let's get you into Jackson County. Now where the radar is indicating rotation. It's a little bit behind in this aspect, but we're still seeing a very strong supercell thunderstorm moving through Jackson County. This is very dangerous, and this is not a cell to play around with. If you're in MacArthur at this point, hopefully you're indoors or very close to moving indoors, because this cell is coming right on your doorstep now. Hamden, this is moving right into your neck of the woods as well. Let's see if I can get you a couple of locations here. This is going to be near the Dollar General and Hamden Marathon gas station, Stillwater Mennonite Church, Tracer Transportation, Richland Furnace State Forest, Bayer. You're also in the path of this, also up 93. All these things, lots of locations in the path of this. Also, the small community of Richland on the northern side of the Richland Furnace State Forest, watching this very closely. Again, that is a really, really dangerous looking thunderstorm, and this is not one that I would play around with. I would get indoors. I would not try to be outside trying to spot this thing. I would just kind of stay indoors until this storm passes. But that's a very dangerous cell. Continues to show some signs of rotation from time to time and showing some signs of stronger winds. Now, looking from the Charleston radar, and again, radar coverage is a little sketchy out here, okay? But looking from the Charleston radar, I certainly see some signs of broad rotation at this point in time. And again, all the Charleston counties in our coverage area are covered in this tornado watch. So now if you're in MacArthur and Jackson, you're under a tornado watch. So that means conditions are favorable for the development of tornadoes. And again, we continue to see signs of rotation with this as it moves off towards the northeast. Now, if you are west of MacArthur along Route 50, you're going to be in the clear from this. I understand there's still a warning out here, and as always, we do like to respect the polygon. But I can tell you from what I'm watching here, I don't see anything coming if you are west of the US 50 and 683 intersection. If you are west of that location, you are not going to see any significant hail from this storm. It's just not moving in that direction, okay? But I'll tell you, this is a classic supercell now, starting to show some very strong signs of a good inflow notch. We have not seen any severe weather reports, and that's a little interesting to me for a couple of reasons. Number one, the Weather Service would really like to have those reports so that they can kind of streamline their warning process and kind of continue to monitor what they're doing this afternoon with that. So let's look at some of your comments here, and I apologize again. We'll show the tornado watch in full again here in just a second, so bear with me here. Okay, I see that. Yep. Okay, I see that. Okay, so the Weather Service in northern Indiana is saying so far most of the reports have been sub-severe, but that may change as they move into northwestern Ohio, so we'll watch that. Okay, so tornado watch. I saw there was a question about that again, okay? If you're watching us from the Middle Ohio Valley Weather Update, everybody's under a tornado watch except Hocking County where there's a severe thunderstorm watch. Really no difference here, okay? There is still a threat of tornadoes even if you're under a severe thunderstorm watch. There's a threat of damaging winds. There's a threat of large hail. So just kind of be prepared for that across the board. This does include all the way to Ashland, Canton, Youngstown, New Philadelphia, Coshocton, Steubenville, and Wheeling as well. So a rather expansive tornado watch for eastern Ohio that goes until 10 p.m. tonight, and that's a tornado watch, and a severe thunderstorm watch for the counties in pink until 9 p.m. tonight. So I'm going to turn the watches off for right now just to kind of keep things a little bit cleaner for you so we can kind of see what's going on. Now, as you look from the rest of the Charleston office here, there's not much going on. There's likely plenty of sunshine in some locations. Temperatures are likely getting very warm. We can show you the satellite that shows pockets of sunshine through West Virginia and a lot of the Middle Ohio Valley. But this thunderstorm right here in Jackson and Vinton counties is going to continue to require a lot of attention. It's a supercell thunderstorm dropping large hail coming through Hamden, especially now just to the north of Hamden, and heading right for Zaleski and MacArthur. So if you're in those locations, large hail imminent in the next little bit, and I think we will likely see a new severe thunderstorm warning coming out shortly for more portions of Vinton County and likely into Athens County as well. So that's one area of concern we'll have to kind of watch and see how things progress. I'm going to change the map style because this is kind of getting on my nerves just a little bit, so bear with me for just 1 second. There we go. Wanted to change over to this. A little bit easier on the computer. Alright, there we go. So some of you may even like this look just a little bit better so you can kind of get a little bit better idea of what the storm looks like at this point. Okay? Just checking over some things, folks. Again, right now our resources are just me, and while our team is talking to me through chat, this is what you have right now. You have me. I'm forecaster Nick Dillon. We continue to monitor things very closely. To the combined 800 plus of you watching, we appreciate your patience and your time with us here this afternoon as we continue to track these very strong and intense looking thunderstorms continuing to progress off towards the northeast at this point in time. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning now for Allen, DeKalb, Defiance, Paulding, and Williams counties in northwest Ohio. So with that, I am going to bring on another audience. Okay, I see a report there, tornado sirens going off in MacArthur. I can tell you there's not a tornado warning, and perhaps we could get somebody to follow up with that one. Okay? Of ours here as we're starting warnings moving into other areas. We also have a new severe thunderstorm now from Meigs and Morgan County. So Weather Service in Charleston not playing around. There's that new warning for southeast Ohio. So we've got a lot to get to. So let's go ahead and hop to it now. A new severe thunderstorm warning for Vinton, Jackson, Morgan, Perry, and Athens counties. Actually, it looks like Morgan County may be just excluded from that, but it's close. They've now tagged it tornado possible. Long-lived supercell ongoing exiting Jackson County, moving through Vinton County and off to the northeast at near 60 miles per hour. This is a very quick-moving thunderstorm. Don't be surprised if you happen to see this upgraded to a tornado warning. We've been saying this. It hasn't happened yet, but the conditions are certainly becoming favorable for that development of tornadoes this afternoon across southeast Ohio. That is area number 1 of interest. That is a very long polygon, which tells me 2 things. Number 1, if you're in Athens, you have an immense amount of lead time. Get your vehicles in the garage, get out of harm's way, and get in a safe place. This is tagged tornado possible. You can see the green rotating circle on the radar. That means that radar has shown some signs of rotation. Get indoors, get your pets inside, get your children inside, and just kind of be prepared for additional warnings to be issued. We actually are now seeing a plethora of warnings. So, those of you watching the Middle Ohio Valley, this is area number 1. We've got to focus now back to the west just a little bit. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning in the Miami Valley as well for portions of Darke, Montgomery, Butler, and portions of Preble counties. Tagged tornado possible until 3:15 p.m. This one has a couple of interesting looks to it as well. You can kind of see we got these little kinks in the line. So that's coming through Camden, West College Corner, Oxford. That's the University of Miami, Ohio campus. Moving northeast here towards Eaton, El Dorado, and Arcanum, and also including western Montgomery counties. So if you're in the path of this one, we'll track it off to the northeast for you. Eaton, West Alexandria, Arcanum, El Dorado, Phillipsburg, Brookville, in the next half of an hour. This storm will continue to move your way, and be prepared for the potential for damaging winds and a non-zero risk of a tornado. Up to the north now, a new severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Williams, Defiance, and Paulding counties in northeast Ohio, and Allen County in northeast Indiana, and southeastern DeKalb County in northeast Indiana. Dangerous looking thunderstorm here continues to move to the northeast, coming through Woodburn and Monroeville, getting absolutely hammered right now. You can see pockets of purple in here. That's indicative of very large hail, potentially up to the size of quarters. Weather Service continuing to tag this one tornado possible. Let's look at the velocity product here. So yeah, we're seeing some rotation. It's broad and not quite jointed together enough. And real quick, I do need to check one other thing here as we continue to progress in time. I assume, let's see, is John live? Okay, he's not. Let me see. I think we're just going to go ahead and bring his audience on anyway, so bear with me 1 second here. We'll continue to bring in different audiences within our network here as needed. See what else we've got going on here. Alright, so now we've got the rest of you in here across our northern Indiana pages, so good afternoon to you. I'm forecaster Nick Dunn. Current time is 2:45 p.m. We're tracking severe thunderstorms across the entire Bell Park Weather Network coverage area. We don't have any active tornado warnings, and if we did, you would see the header at the bottom would say that, but we do have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings across our network right now, one of which is exiting the Fort Wayne metro area and moving off to the northeast out of New Haven and Monroeville, dropping very heavy rain. Lightning count is very impressive here. Some large hail as well, potentially, and this is moving off towards the northeast. So this will head towards Woodburn, Payne, Antwerp, Hicksville, Paulding, Cecil, Sherwood, Defiance, Ney, just to name a few locations. Also US 24 and US 127 in the path of this as well. So just kind of be prepared as we're going to have to continue to track these thunderstorms as they move off here towards the northeast. You can also watch us on Ohio News and Weather's YouTube stream if you happen to lose us. Another storm of interest that definitely has my concern right now is, and we've been watching this. This is a merge or a combination of 2 storms. One exiting Jay County, one exiting Randolph County. Kind of came together in Jay County as it moved into Adams County, and now it's moving into northwestern Mercer County and southwestern Van Wert County. There is no formal warning on this, but if you're up here to Van Wert in Ohio City, Ren, you're about to get hit very hard with this. This is a very strong thunderstorm. Maybe not quite to severe criteria just yet, but I would not be surprised to see this potentially grow into a severe thunderstorm. Wren, you're now getting some very heavy rain and some hail. Wilshire, probably the same thing for you at this point as this continues to progress off towards the north and northeast. This cell appears to be moving almost due north or north-northeast. A little bit of a different motion today compared to some of these other storms that we are monitoring at this point in time. So a lot going on, and I appreciate everybody joining us here this afternoon. The bigger concern, though, also right now is in southeast Ohio, where we have a long-lived supercell thunderstorm. While we don't have any confirmed reports of large hail, this is a very dangerous thunderstorm with nearly 100 lightning strikes moving through MacArthur, and it now appears to have changed its shape just a little bit to where maybe the tornado threat has decreased just a little bit. But I don't want you to let your guard down. MacArthur, just to the southeast of downtown, getting hit extremely hard on US 50 right now with some very large hail. Radar says potentially up to $half size, and if it's falling enough, we could see a brief bout of accumulating hail with this. I've been saying that for just a little bit now, and I'll be interested to see some of the pictures that come in from this after the storm has passed. And if you have any pictures or reports, we want you to send us those, but please do it safely. Don't put yourself in danger, and don't risk yourself or other property. Just to get us, a couple pictures out there, okay? So this is where things stand at this point, and it is worth noting that this storm is heading towards Athens, a pretty populous area, the Ohio University campus, down towards Albany, Nelsonville, up to Murray City. All these locations are in the path of the storm that could be producing some large hail. Let's see here. Okay, John Tinney's also watching some things. And John, I am live on your page right now as well, so I'm trying to get all these different platforms involved here so we get as many people involved here as possible. Let me see what that just was here. What do they do here? Okay, I thought I heard something of interest, but that's not the case. Pea-sized hail ongoing in New Haven. No surprise there. Pea-sized hail down in Hoagland. Not surprising there whatsoever. John is looking on that storm that is exiting the Decatur area at this point. Interesting structures there. Yeah, I see where you... Yeah, okay, I see that. Absolutely. Yep, I definitely see that at this point. Okay. Alright, so we're continuing to monitor all these different things coming in different reports. And again, your reports are very valuable and very important as well, so please continue to send them our way. And we're going to watch this very closely. The sirens are going off still in Vinton County. And folks, here's the thing, okay? Sirens are not the number one way to receive warnings. And they should not be the number one way to receive warnings, okay? So just understand that there is no tornado warning right now. For Vinton County, for Jackson County, Athens, Perry, there is no tornado warning. This is a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. Now, maybe the policy in Vinton County is a little different, but just understand that that's not what we're seeing right now. We are not seeing any signs of tornadic activity. There's no tornado warning down there in Vinton County. Okay? So, real quick, I do want to bounce back to the west. Near the Dayton areas, we have a severe thunderstorm warning here as well. And you have to kind of bounce back and forth today with these numerous warnings that we have. But coming through Preble County now along US 35, Eaton, down towards Camden, Oxford, this has just cleared your area. This is a nasty, a little bit of a Boeing-type structure looking of a thunderstorm. They do have this one tagged tornado possible, and that's very interesting for a couple of different reasons. Number one, this is not necessarily something that I see huge tornado signs for, but this is certainly a concern that we may see development of a tornado. That's exactly what a tornado possible tag means. We could see development of tornadic activity. There's just not enough confidence and just not quite enough signs just yet that we may have to contend with a tornado. So real quick, I'm going to edit the post on our on the Ohio News and Weather side of things. Give me just 1 second here. Okay. That should hopefully update. Perfect. There we go. Okay, so current time now is just before 3 o'clock here on this Wednesday. And we continue to track severe weather across the Miami Valley, across northeast Indiana, across the Mid-Ohio Valley. We've got all kinds of weather going on out there this afternoon that requires our attention. Let's get you up in the northeast Indiana real quick for an update. Severe thunderstorm warning: Williams, Defiance, Paulding in northwest Ohio, DeKalb and Allen in northeast Indiana until 3:30. Pretty nasty looking line segment here. And there's been some reports of pea-sized hail, but that's been about it so far based on some of the reports that we're getting. Moving off here to the northeast at speeds of about 45 miles per hour. So appears to have slowed down maybe just a touch. Velocity signature is still pretty indicative of the potential for straight line winds, especially here near Woodburn along Indiana Route 101 and US Route 24. That's interesting. You can see the reds and greens nearly touching each other all the way down towards US 30, but this is a sign of strong straight line wind damage potential. You can even see perhaps just a little bit of a bowing structure with this right there. Okay, sometimes that's a good sign that we're getting a good rear inflow push, which that appears to be the case, and that can sometimes allow these storms, even on just a smaller scale, to bow out just a little bit. So that's concerning. You may see some reports of wind damage coming in from that area as well. As we zoom it out for you down here into Van Wert County, this storm here near Wren and Wilshire is conjoining now with this line segment moving out of Indiana and into northwest Ohio. And what I mean by that, I'll bring the drawing tool back out again. This cell is moving off to the almost due north. It's been riding almost a due north track for a while now, or a north-northeast track. And it started to conjoin forces with the southern end of this line segment, moving out of Allen and northwestern Van Wert counties and into Paulding County. So that's a little bit concerning. We could see that grow even more upscale and more organized as it moves into more of northwest Ohio. Down the line, Jay County still getting hit pretty hard right now. Southeastern Mercer County, a new thunderstorm developing here, moving into southwestern Auglaize County. Not severe, but again, new development nevertheless, and that's not surprising whatsoever. As we kind of zoom things out for you, you can see kind of our active warnings that we have. We do have a tornado watch for southeast Ohio and in West Virginia till 10 p.m. Also eastern Ohio included in that watch as well. And a severe thunderstorm watch until 9 p.m. for about the western half of Ohio and extreme eastern Indiana. What we have ongoing this afternoon, several areas of severe thunderstorms, one of which in southeast Ohio appears to be a long-lived supercell type thunderstorm that continues to produce the potential for large hail. Now I will say that this cell has lost a touch of its organization and strength, but it still looks pretty strong. And I still think a severe thunderstorm warning is well warranted for Athens and Vinton counties. Jackson County, you're in the clear at this point. There is some new development now in Scioto and Pike County, so we'll have to watch that to see if it grows up scale any further. But nevertheless, this is a really dangerous looking storm still in Vinton and moving into Athens counties, even into portions of eastern Hocking County. A narrow line segment here could produce some strong winds and maybe some very small hail, the bigger hail threat of which right now is into portions of Vinton County at this point in time. Getting a report now of some pea-sized hail in MacArthur. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for those reports that continue to come in here this afternoon. Okay. Yeah, Tyler, good point. As this comes in closer to Athens, we'll be able to look at some of the cameras from the Ohio Department of Transportation. Good point. Okay. So they've removed the tornado possible tag out of the warning near the Dayton area. Squall line indicators favoring tornado development has decreased. So that's a good sign. And we can actually go over to the terminal Doppler in Dayton as well and show you some of the products from over there. Yeah, let's take a look at that real quick. Let's flip you over to the Dayton storm real quick. Okay. Here just to the west of Dayton, you're looking at some of these really bright greens. And by the way, this is that severe thunderstorm warning that continues for another 18 minutes here for southeastern Darke County, western Montgomery County, northeastern portions of Butler County, and most of Preble County. And again, that will continue until 3:15 this afternoon. Seeing some indications here, and it's going to be right in this neck of the woods right here. Okay, a little bit of a bowing structure taking place, perhaps a little bit of a rear inflow push. It allows those storms to kind of bow out from time to time. Okay, so that's a look at that at this point. And again, that's there into Preble County. That's heading up here towards Brookville and New Lebanon and West Alexandria. So those are just a few of the locations in the path of this. You may see, again, a quick push of gusty winds and then also some very heavy rain, but then it's going to move on out of there pretty quickly. Okay, so let's go over to the Wilmington radar for a look at the reflectivity side of things, again, a pretty nasty looking line of thunderstorms here racing off towards the north-northeast. Eventually this will cross into Darke County, and it is about to move into western Montgomery County at this point, but this is primarily west of I-75, at least this part of the line. If you're down here towards Kings Island, you are seeing this line of storms starting to show some signs of gusty winds here as well. I'll turn on some of the lightning here so you can kind of see what's been going on in here as well. And the lightning not nearly as impressive on parts of this line, but it is worth noting that there's still some lightning ongoing. So a little bit of just a slightly different look at things. Let's get you up here into northeast Indiana, northwest Ohio. Again, Williams defines Paulding in northwest Ohio. Tornado possible tag continues with a severe thunderstorm warning. And I'll tell you, Van Wert County, this still looks really impressive to me. This is now a larger line segment now that these two forces have kind of combined just a little bit here into northwest Ohio now. While Van Wert County is not under a formal warning, I would not be surprised if they go ahead and add a warning very soon. Not seeing much in the way of any dangerous signs of any rotation or anything like that down into Van Wert County, but signs of strong winds, and again, maybe just a slight bowing segment here, moving into Paulding County out of Allen County, Indiana. So we may see some reports of wind damage there near Payne and along US 24 here soon too. So let's just kind of wait and see how that progresses over the next few minutes. Okay, but there's the reflectivity look of things. All right. Let's move back down into southeast Ohio, and I'm going to use this radar for just this source here for just a little bit longer. Okay, so let's get you into Athens County. You can see this cell still looks very impressive. Let's get over to velocity. Still seeing signs of strong winds east of MacArthur here near Knox, south of Hope here along US 50. There's Ohio Route 681 that runs from Mineral down to Albany. You can see some of these areas still seeing some strong wind potential there. And again, this is tagged as tornado possible for the next 30 minutes. So could we see a tornado? Yes, it's very possible. And you are under a tornado watch, mind you, down here. And again, I'm not seeing any signs of anything. Switch it to here. Yeah, I'm not seeing much there. Maybe a little bit of a drop off in reflectivity. It's pretty close. So let's kind of hang tight down here for just a few minutes. Let's look at correlation coefficient. Good. Nothing there, so that's good. All right. So again, this has been a long-lived supercell type thunderstorm, and it may just kind of be cycling a little bit. Could be going through a little bit of a generation stage or a regeneration stage potentially. This will be one to watch here for the next little while. Okay. And also, while we have your attention, Scioto County, I know you guys just got hit. Round 2 is coming in. And for that, I'm going to switch you back over to our other radar source to kind of show you. Round 2 is coming into Scioto County, and these cells look pretty ominous. Okay, several discrete smaller cells within kind of a broken segment. These could go warned. Okay, so understand that Scioto County, your risk is not over. Franklin Furnace, you're seeing a pretty strong, quick-moving cell through that area, exiting pretty quickly here. But Rardon, Otway, southwest of Portsmouth, southwest of Rosemont, these cells starting to grow some signs of upscale and some intensity. Okay, downtown Columbus, just some showers have been moving through, and the models have actually been handling this quite well at this point, in my opinion. Okay, let's move into Hamilton and Claremont County. Tyler Phillips is starting to notice a couple different things here. Yeah, we're starting to notice a weak bowing segment moving out of Hamilton County. I'm not seeing much in the way of anything from the Weather Service that shows that they're going to issue anything on that. They do continue severe thunderstorm warning for Athens, Perry, and Vinton until 3:30. Tornado possible. No surprise there. Okay, unconfirmed report in Van Wert County. Brief funnel cloud south of Dixon, Ohio. New wall cloud is beginning to form. It is obscured by rain. New report out of Allen County, Indiana, of quarter-size hail lasting 3 to 5 minutes near Monroeville. Let's go back up. Let's go to Van Wert County. Let's check this out. See if we're seeing much of anything here. Did not look too ominous as of a few minutes ago. And that was relayed via the spotter network near Dixon. I may have to pull up the other radar source in order to get some more towns involved here. See if I can find out where Dixon is. Yeah, I'm not... Okay. So that would be on the back side, depending on the time of that report. which was at 3:01. Okay, that's interesting. That would be on the backside. Would I be surprised by that? No, just because we've seen that happen before, but not so sure that is actually happening. So we'll just kind of see what happens here. But Van Wert County, we've been telling you that this is the potential. We could see this be upgraded to a warning. So we've been telling you that for a little bit. This is why. Okay. Moving down to the south just a little bit. Okay, Salina. That cell is upgrowing just a little bit and growing in strength and intensity. Darke County, several thunderstorms around the county. Nothing overly intense at this point. The severe thunderstorm warning for west of Dayton will likely be allowed to expire on time, if I had to guess. Current time is 3:04. Expiration time is 3:15. So let's see what happens here. All right. Current time right now is also 3:05, by the way. We're going to continue our coverage here for at least a little while longer while we have multiple thunderstorms that are tagged tornado possible. This one of which looks a little less intense over the last few frames coming into Athens and Chauncey, and that's a good sign. The storm has been ongoing, severe, potential for very large hail ever since it came through Portsmouth. And again, Portsmouth, you can see there on the bottom of your screen, you're about to get hit with round number 2 here very shortly. So just be prepared to stay indoors until that storm passes through. Pea-sized hail west of Convoy in Van Wert County, not surprised whatsoever. Yeah, Tyler, I saw that report. Thank you. Okay. All right, so at this point, guys, we don't have any active tornado warnings still, and I still want to stay with you, but and understand we're going to tone it back just a little bit. We're not seeing a ton of severe weather reports at this point. And that's a good sign. Okay, we don't like to see a bunch of active. We don't want to see a lot of damage today. Okay, that's the big thing. We don't want to see lives hurt. We don't want to see property damaged. Obviously we could use a little bit of rain if you have fertilizer out in your yard. Maybe some weed and feed to try to get the grass greened up and growing here. But we don't want to see any kind of damage or anything of that nature. Okay. Just 1 second here. Okay, some quarter-size hail being reported. I guess a slightly delayed report coming out of New Haven there. Okay, all right, guys. So at this point, this is what we're currently kind of sitting here with at this time. We'll do a quick recap on the warnings, and then what I think we may do for a short while here is I'm gonna kind of reset the scene here a little bit, try to gather some more details and some reports for you. Then we'll come back live for continuous coverage here once again. Of severe thunderstorm warning. So let's jump you off here to Northeast Indiana and Northwest Ohio first. Wow, this line segment, it continues to look very impressive and looks to continue intensifying. This line segment here to me definitely showing some signs of bowing. Look at this. Very impressive, and that is moving off towards the northeast. Okay, so those of you that continue to be in Paulding County, Defiance County, and even into Van Wert County, again, there was a report of a funnel cloud, but that has not been confirmed, and there's not been a ton of support behind that just yet. But at this point, this is a pretty dangerous line. So if you're in Paulding right now, looking off to the west, it probably looks very ominous and very scary. The velocity signatures are pretty decent here too. Wow, especially just to the west of Paulding. Coming into Antwerp there along US 24, that'll approach US 127 and Ohio Route 111 here very quickly. But those brighter reds, while those numbers are not impressive, I would venture to say that there's probably some pretty strong winds coming in, and that's going to potentially allow for some trees to come down, maybe some power lines to come down as well. And that movement appears to now be turning perhaps just a touch bit more north-northeast at this point in time. But this is certainly the strongest thunderstorm on radar right now in our coverage area, and that's this line segment here in Paulding County, southwestern Defiance County, exiting DeKalb and Allen counties in Indiana, down into Van Wert County. And again, Van Wert County, your part of the storm is not warned, but still looks very intense at this time. Moving down to the south, Mercer and Always County, some scattered thunderstorms here. Darke County, same for you. We still have an ongoing severe thunderstorm warning for about 7 minutes. They've taken the tornado possible tag off this. This is for western Montgomery County, southeastern Darke County, and eastern portions of Preble County and extreme north-central portions of Butler County. We continue to watch a line of thunderstorms here, a little less organized, but still some signs that we could be seeing some strong winds. And I want to quickly look at the terminal Doppler out of Dayton just to see if I'm seeing anything of interest. There is not, but there's certainly some strong winds coming into the Brookville area, Lewisburg, and New Lebanon. There could be some pretty gusty winds with this. Maybe not quite to the order of 60 miles per hour, but certainly some stronger winds. And I think this warning may be allowed to expire on time. We may not see a new one reissued just based on some of the signatures that we are seeing at this point in time. All right, back down to southeast Ohio, Scioto County. We could see a new warning issued momentarily for you. That cell is growing upscale pretty quickly out of Scioto County. They've now taken Vinton County out of the warning, so it's really just for Athens County. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, and we'll get the radar data for you. Lots of lightning down here too, by the way. Let me turn those watches off for you. All right, so this cell, now, remember I said that this could be cycling a little bit. We're seeing a new inflow notch now developing right there. Okay, you can see a little bit of a drop off in reflectivity, and you can see some of this maybe trying to spin around on the back side. Yeah, that's concerning just a little bit, and this is why we have a tornado possible tag on this continuing, to my knowledge. Let me double check that. Yes, tornado possible tag continues. Warning goes for another 20 minutes, but that cell continues, and it has had a long-lived history of at least strong winds, and we're certainly seeing that for sure. All right, let's see what we're looking at here. If there's any new updates to pass along. Okay, severe thunderstorm warning for Butler, Darke, and Montgomery and Preble has been expired, and that's about 5 minutes ahead of time. So that's some good news. So now we're kind of left with what we're watching down here in Athens County and what we're watching up across northwest Ohio. So we'll be able to bounce back and forth a little bit easier now. And let's see what that was. Okay, so they continue warning up there for Defiance, Paulding, Williams, and DeKalb County, Indiana, with the line segment that continues to just look really impressive to me. Give me 1 second here. I want to be able to go back and forth. So let's real quick bump back to northwest Ohio, real quick. Through Paulding County and southwestern Defiance County, still seeing some pretty strong winds, and the velocity shows that very clearly here coming out of Antwerp. But basically, if you're on US 24, that's the strongest winds that we can see right now. Is going to be there along US 24. Okay, they've issued a special weather statement now for Scioto County, so I'm not too surprised on that. All right, so that's storm number 1. You can just see they just took Allen County, Indiana out of the warning. I'll take you back to the reflectivity. And you can still see the bow that is ongoing here. And it's going to kind of be in the apex of this bow, so pretty much US Route 24, short term, could see a brief corridor of some stronger wind gusts and maybe some wind damage there into Paulding County. Now behind this, just some scattered showers. Most of this is going to, will be relatively weak in nature. But this line segment here coming out of Indiana and into northwest Ohio means business with the potential of producing some damage. There's not been a lot of damage reporting out of this yet, but there's still a severe thunderstorm warning tag tornado possible for another 18 minutes for portions of Defiance and Paulding and Williams counties in northwest Ohio, and for all intents and purposes, DeKalb County has been allowed to expire in my book at this point. Okay. Let's see what else we've got here. Large bolts of cloud-to-ground lightning west of Cridersville. Yeah, I believe it. I believe every bit of that. There's some developing thunderstorms over there for sure. Let's get you back down to Athens County. This storm here still looks pretty impressive. Still signs of maybe it wants to try to reorganize into a new supercell or a regenerated supercell. And I would not be surprised, based on the history of this, if they continue a new warning from Morgan and portions of Athens, and maybe cutting into Washington County here very soon. This storm certainly looks a little weaker in nature, but again, sometimes these storms have a tendency to cycle a little bit. And based on that latest scan, I would now actually say that Washington County may miss this cell altogether, and this may become more of a Perry and Morgan County issue, depending on the exact movement of this over the next little bit. So let's kind of watch that closely. Scioto County. I would think we're going to see a new warning here shortly for Scioto County based on these returns. If you're into Rosemont, Portsmouth, New Boston, Sciotodale, that is really dangerous looking. Okay. So the Weather Service in Wilmington has just kind of pointed out that there's potentially a limiting factor for tornado development in the western Ohio line. Could actually be too strong of wind shear. It's pushing the reflectivity downstream, which is then getting ingested into the line. They've seen a few surges in the winds, but nothing overly impressive just yet. Confidence has never really reached a modest threshold. They will continue to monitor at this point. So that's the current look there, based on what we're seeing. Looking at that OGO camera from Athens, yeah, nothing overly impressive yet. Certainly some darker clouds moving in. But this cell here in Scioto County, again, a singular storm. We were very concerned about this. Also, northern Lawrence County, a singular isolated storm. Portions of southwestern Lawrence County around Ironton and Ashland, a singular storm. These three things different together are really trying to cause some issues this afternoon. We could see some new warnings issued. And also down into Kentucky, we'll have to watch this downstream here. For Huntington, West Virginia, maybe eventually Gallipolis, Ravenswood, Pomeroy. Well, that's going to be the area of interest. We could see some new warnings issued there very soon. Weather Service is saying a new attempt at rotation is trying again near Brookville, Ohio. We'll look at that if we have time. So again, Athens and Perry County till 3:30, a severe thunderstorm warning. And then for Defiance and Paulding counties, Williams County, Northwest Ohio, until I believe that's actually 3:30 as well. Yes, until 3:30. Okay. Let's go look at Brookville. And let me switch sources to do that because I think we'll get a better look at it. Yes. Okay. So what the Weather Service is monitoring here in Brookville is going to be this area right in here, right around Brookville. Okay, now radar does not look that impressive. Okay, and to be honest, this part of the line has never looked overly impressive to me, but the reflectivity side concerns me just a little bit. Look at this, okay? There are certainly inflow notches right there. There's another one right here. Brookville, Doddston. I'd be inside and be in a safe place. Latest scan coming into Clayton now. North of Trotwood, up here towards Phillipsburg. Let's just kind of hang tight here. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with this. Latest rotation signature there, in between Brookville and Clayton. Right there, that is along, I don't have a street name there per se, that's along Brookville-Salem Road. Could be something to worth watch right there. Matches up perfectly with reflectivity. So, while I don't know that they're going to issue a tornado warning on this just yet, that is an area of concern. Okay. Looking at some more comments here. Okay. So again, this is where the Weather Service is now monitoring. The Clayton area, Brookville, Phillipsburg, north of Dodson up towards 5 Points. This area, there's certainly some signs of rotation trying to develop. It has not been overly successful just yet. Velocity still very interesting here along Brookville-Salem Road approaching I-70. And that's going to move right into Clayton in the next few minutes. Now, that may be nothing. Maybe it's okay, tornado warning, folks. A new tornado warning has just been issued now for Miami and Montgomery counties. So let's get right over to radar. our other source here. Again, a new tornado warning, and I'm going to change the lower bottom of the screen here for you now. A new tornado warning has been issued. Okay, until 3:45 p.m. now for Miami and Montgomery counties. The Weather Service has now seen some different things on radar. Again, we mentioned tightest rotation is now moving through Clayton. So we're going to go right back over to the terminal Doppler in just a second. But now a new tornado warning has been issued now until 3:45 for southern Miami and northwestern Montgomery County. National Weather Service Doppler radar indicated a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Inglewood and moving off to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. The hazard here is a tornado with radar indicated rotation. This is a pretty dangerous situation as we continue to monitor this through the afternoon hours. Now, I want to get you over to the terminal Doppler in Dayton because we are seeing some signs of rotation here again coming into Clayton. This is radar indicated. This has not been confirmed by any storm spotters. This has not been confirmed by any kind of radar technology, but certainly there's growing concern here near Clayton that a tornado could be in progress right now. And I'm trying to see if I can get the warnings to populate on this other software. It should have already come up, but I'm sure it'll come up in just a second. Yeah, look at this right here. Okay, this is right over Clayton and Swanktown. I apologize if I mispronounced that town, but right here, see that? Strong inflow notch. Good amount of precipitation wrapping around. There's your rotation. This is what the Weather Service is monitoring right now, and we're going to have to monitor things very closely. There's the tornado warning now populated on this. That's good to see. Let me turn off the drawing tool for you. So looking downstream in the next few minutes, Inglewood, Union, and Pig Eye, Frederick, these are the immediate locations kind of in the path of this, I guess you can call it a miniature supercell, or I don't know if you really want to call it that. It looks like that, though, or kind of a different shaped kidney bean type looking structure here. This is moving off towards the northeast, and those are some of the communities in the path of this. So I would be in a safe place immediately if you are in Inglewood, Union, Pig Eye, Frederick, in any of those locations. All right, be in a safe place. And let's go see if we can pop that back up here real quick too, okay? So now that you're under a tornado warning, Montgomery and Miami counties, get to the lowest level possible. That's going to be in a basement or below ground. If ultimately, we really would like to see it below ground. But we understand that not everybody can get there. All right, put as many walls between you and the outside. Take something with you to protect your body, helmet, mattress, sofa cushion, something of that nature, and also use the same protection for your children and pets, and take your cell phone or other device with you down to your shelter so that you can be prepared and that you can stay informed as to what's going on. But again, this is a new tornado warning just now issued by the National Weather Service in Wilmington a couple of moments ago for Montgomery and Miami counties here until 5:30. And the concern is for this area of rotation coming through Clayton. The radar signature appears to be the better look at things because velocity is just not doing it, I don't think. Yeah, velocity, there's not a lot here. Let me check the Wilmington radar just to make sure I'm not missing something. Yeah, I'm not missing anything there. But there's certainly some cause for concern here. Coming up into Inglewood right now. There's also US 40, State Road 48. Again, Inglewood, Union, up towards Pig Eye. Exiting Clayton right now. There's an area of rotation. Radar, we're looking at the terminal Doppler out of Dayton. And again, we continue to see a pretty good sign of an inflow notch right there, and precipitation wrapping around the back side, and there's even a little bit of a donut hole in reflectivity right there. Look at that. Okay, sometimes those things can be telltale signs to tornado development. Amateur radio spotter at I-70 and Hoke Road in Clayton reporting very heavy rain. Unable to spot any rotation in the Warren cell, but it is very dark in color and possibly extending downward towards the ground. Another area of concern moving towards Phillipsburg and Union, Ohio, in Montgomery County. That's going to be back to the northwestern side of this here towards 5 Points. Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, inflow notch right here. Precipitation wrapping back around. Those of you down in the Mid-Ohio Valley, I want to give you a quick apology. We have a tornado warning now in the Bell Park Weather Network, so this is going to take precedence at this point. We still are monitoring things kind of behind the scenes down into Athens County and portions of Vinton County and Perry County for severe thunderstorms there. We understand that there are some other storms worth noting that could potentially need some attention shortly. But this, we have 2 areas of rotation, both of which could produce tornadoes. And based on the track, we could have to see a secondary tornado warning for western Miami County based on what's coming here through Phillipsburg right now. I want to mention velocity. We're pretty close to the terminal Doppler site in Dayton, and the velocity is not that impressive, but there certainly is something going on here. And whether it's just very strong winds and heavy rain remains to be seen. If there's a tornado going on, remains to be seen. The severe thunderstorm warning for Athens County has been allowed to expire and is not going to be reissued at this time. So that's good. So that allows us now to go ahead and focus in squarely here on what we are watching in Montgomery County, now crossing into Miami County at this point. Again, a tornado warning has been issued until 3:45, so get below ground, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. All right, you can see that's this very red box on your screen. That is the tornado warning, and again, this goes until 3:45, so another 20 minutes. What we're seeing here, and I want to point out, this does not include the city of Dayton. This does not include Huber Heights. This does not include Fairborn or Beaver Creek. I know we're getting into some other counties there, but just understand that we're watching this very closely, and we'll have to watch and see if we get any reports out of all of this. But nevertheless, this is a radar-indicated tornado warning. Clayton and Brookville, you're in the clear. You can come out of your shelters now at this point. 5 Points, Phillipsburg, Garland, West Milton, Kessler, Ludlow Falls, Tipp City, West Charleston, towards Vandalia, Grayson, Troy. You're all in this tornado warning polygon. You should be in a safe place. 2 areas of rotation, 2 areas of concern, okay? Number 1, inflow notch still coming in out of the south. It's not wrapped up as tight as it was as it came through Brookville and Clayton, but certainly still worth monitoring. Area number 2, a little stronger, is north of Phillipsburg now and north of 5 Points. Inflow notch right there. Precipitation wrapping around the back side. I'll put this into motion for you so you can see the last several minutes here as to what's been happening. The storm looks like it's pretty much, there's 2 individual thunderstorms within this line segment. And I'll tell you, the northwestern one here near Phillipsburg, this one looks more intense to me, and it has a little bit better of a rotation aspect with it than the one near Inglewood. But both of which still carry tornado potential, and both may still have the chance to wrap up here and produce a brief tornado. Again, we're in southwestern Miami County. For the most part, I would even say Vandalia, you're in the clear, at least for right now. There's still a concern that we could see some very heavy rain and strong winds coming through. The tornado aspect, though, appears to be west of Vandalia at this point in time. Area of rotation behind the initial arrival of rain would be very hard to observe. Okay, Matt Bruning is watching the ODOT camera. Okay, funnel cloud has now been reported on the backside, US 40, 1/4 mile west of Hoke Road in Montgomery County. I'm gonna have to guess. Let's see if I can find out where Hoke Road is. If anybody has any idea on that, let me know. But at this point, it could be this cell coming out of Union and towards Frederick. That could be the one, perhaps. Let me pull up. Give me 1 second here. No, that's not the tool I want. Give me 1 second. Okay, US 40 and Hoke Road. Okay, I see where that's at now. Okay, so that's going to be, that's going to be this one here that is a little closer to, it's going to be this eastern. It's going to be the eastern flank here. Now, actually, I kind of see 3 areas of concern. Okay, one of which right there, number 2 right there, and of course number 3. And number 3 looks a little weaker at this point. So there's number 3, number 2, number 1. So again, there has been a funnel cloud reported back in the cloud, US 40, 1/4 mile west of Hoke Road, Montgomery County. Thanks, Ken, for that. Yeah, I was looking at that kind of on the back side here. So, and this is going to ultimately become a Miami County issue here in short order, but I do want to point out to the south of this, there is a large mass of heavy rain exiting Trotwood, coming into Vandalia. Now, Vandalia, you're in the tornado warning, but the tornado threat appears to be west of you at this point. Again, we numbered those 3 areas of concern for you, of which that continues to remain those 3 areas of concern. And yeah, so Yeah, Hoke Road is down here. Okay, so that was a little closer to Clayton and Inglewood. That's, yeah, so that's kind of, that must have been looking to the northeast, I would imagine, at this point. New severe thunderstorm for Defiance County. We'll have to get to that one here in just a little bit. But nevertheless, right now, tornado warning continues, and we are looking from the terminal Doppler in Dayton, which is located to the east of Troy. So we've got a pretty low look at this. So if there's anything going on, radar would be pretty caught up on that, and I'm not seeing any signs of that. I just exited out of a chat that I didn't mean to, so let's get back into that. Give me 1 second here while I do that. Bear with me here for 1 second. Okay, back in it. Okay, there we go. New report. Okay, now tornado warning has been allowed to expire. So that's interesting. They've canceled the tornado warning now for Montgomery and Miami counties. Okay, and I can confirm that with you as we go over to kind of our main tracking software. Tornado warning gone. So we'll flip the bottom back for you now to severe thunderstorm warning. Okay, there you go. So with that said, we're gonna have to watch that area. Okay, we'll have to watch and see if that re-intensifies a little bit. Let's get you back up to Northwest Ohio as we have a new severe thunderstorm warning. Although I'm not seeing the polygon, I don't understand that one. It's until 4:15. Perhaps it's just not popped up yet. It should be coming, and we should be able to see that any second now. Yeah, okay, it looks like it's actually just a replacement. That's interesting. Okay, so they've replaced the severe thunderstorm warning with a new existing warning. That's interesting in itself until 4:15. Payne, Antwerp, and Hicksville, you're in the clear. I'm not sure why they included you guys in this one, but this is past you now. But a severe thunderstorm warning tagged tornado possible for southern Williams County, most of Defiance County, at least the western half of it, and a good chunk of Paulding County. So still some really strong rain and wind with this one. Base velocity. Oh, let's take a look at this one. North of Sherwood. This looks impressive right in here. Yeah, that looks very impressive to me. Yeah, and that's tag tornado possible there. So if you're north of Sherwood, those are some winds approaching 70 miles per hour. We want you. Let's get you right now. If you're in Nay or Bryan, go to a safe place. As a course of least regret, if you're in those locations, get to your tornado safe place now. That radar scan right there was pretty scary looking, right there north of Sherwood. Okay. We'll look at it from another source here. Yeah, that's concerning. That's right on US 127. Coming into Moats, exiting Sherwood. Township Road 134 coming up towards Nay, east of Farmer. That's an area of concern. I can see why they've went ahead and issued a new warning on this one, for sure. Some signs of hail in there as well. Whatever rotation is in here is rain-wrapped, so you're not going to see it. And I think they're going to have to issue a new warning shortly for the rest of Williams and Defiance and Paulding counties. I'm really perplexed by the issuance of that warning I just saw there. Let me see if anybody else is seeing something different. Alright, so yes, again, the tornado warning's been canceled to 3:45. That's been allowed to expire due to the fact that... Okay, that's the warning that I was looking for right there till 4 o'clock. Okay. Yeah, I think somebody accidentally hit the wrong button on that. New funnel cloud spotter looking northwest from US 40 at I-75. That's down, and I was kind of concerned about why they canceled that warning so early. So again, there's the new warning appearing again. There is an area of rotation exiting Sherwood and up towards Nay. It is a little weaker, but it's there. And that's why we have that tornado possible tag continuing. Elevated broad rotation over Vandalia continues, so we may have to move back down to the Dayton area here in just a second. I was kind of confused by it. They had the warning go until 3:45, but they canceled it rather early. Kind of shocked by that one. We've seen that before, though. Okay. Thank you for those updates. Okay, so that's Northwest Ohio. Let's jump back down to Dayton real quick. Okay, we do not have a formal warning, but from US 40 and I-75, here near Vandalia, looking northwest, there was a sighting of a funnel cloud, according to the National Weather Service. Now, this has become more of a Boeing type structure here through Tip City, coming through Vandalia. And that will move off to the northeast, something like this. So those of you in southeastern Miami County coming out of Montgomery County, kind of be prepared for that. Again, no tornado warning at this time. We will see if they elect to issue one. But this is the way that west central Ohio looks at this point in time. Also, another feature of interest is here in western Shelby County, northwestern Montgomery County, exiting out of Darke County. This is interesting. We could see perhaps a rear inflow jet kind of come in on the backside, and we may see this kind of start to whip up and circulate a little bit as it moves off towards the northeast. So lots to watch there. See if there's any more updates out of the Dayton area. Yeah, just not seeing it right now. And that rotation there into Defiance County appears to have also weakened at least a little bit from where it was. So while we have you on this source, let's go back up into Defiance County and I'll show what we're talking about. This was coming out of Moats and moving into Nay. We'll go over to Velocity. Okay, and we'll see if we can take you back a little bit in time. Let's see if I can... Okay. So you can see right there, and that was at 328. You can see that there was a pretty good sign of at least strong winds. It may not have wrapped up fully to produce a tornado, but there certainly could have been something there. And that signature is not nearly as strong, but I still think there's potential for damaging winds heading up towards Bryan out of Defiance County. The Defiance-Williams County line sits right there. There's the area of concern. And that's moving north-northeast at this time. Alright, so that's a look at the way that things look over there. We've not talked about southeast Ohio for a while, so let's jump down here real quick. Alright, so new thunderstorm coming into Jackson. This one looks pretty intense. I do see some signs for hail here. Kind of surprised we don't have a warning on this one either, to a point. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, law enforcement reporting now a tree down blocking the road at Rockford West Road and Grauberger Road in Mercer County. Interesting report, thank you. Alright, so Jackson County. This cell here looks pretty impressive. There certainly is a sign for hail, and you can tell that denoted there by some of these purplish colors. Particularly about to come right into downtown Jackson. Again, no warning on this one, at least as of yet. Eastern Warren County moving into western Clinton County. Weather Service now monitoring an area of rotation there as well, potentially, or there's just an area of interest. Also, I want to point out into Ross County. This radar, that's a few minutes behind. Let's go over to Wilmington. Alright, so here near Londonderry, this is not far from forecaster Tyler Phillips looking back to the northwest of his location. A single cell has developed here. We'll watch and see if that develops into anything. So we're still watching lots of development this afternoon. And keep in mind, while we only have one active warning, I feel it's important that we continue to kind of stay here with you for a little while longer. And even if we get a little bit of a break in some things, I still feel it's important that we hang tight and see what goes on, because things can change in a minute's notice here. The Weather Service said they're monitoring a warning to Clinton County. Let's go see what they're seeing down here. Yes, I see this. That's going to be north of Blanchester here towards Clarksville. You're watching this area right here. That's actually very close to the radar site. And it's that spot right there. So we'll see if they elect to do anything with that. Looking at some other things here on the back side. So bear with me for just 1 second. Okay, new tornado warning now for Clinton, Greene, and Warren counties in southwest Ohio. So let's get right over to the radar. That's going to be until 4:15. A new tornado warning. Now this includes the Weather Service in Wilmington. This is going to include their forecast office. So very interesting. They will likely have to take shelter from this. Alright, so new tornado warning now for southeastern Greene County, east central Warren County, and most of Clinton County until 4:15 p.m. Let's get you back over to the main radar source so you can see this now. And the area of concern here is coming into Clarksville right now. And there's your blinking tornado warning box. So if you're in the city of Wilmington, this does not include the city of Xenia. I do want to make that clear. This does not include the city of Xenia as of yet. We also have a new tornado warning now, multiple tornado warnings now being issued, Miami and Shelby County. So you're going to have to hang tight with us here back and forth. I'll see if I can get another member on board here with us. And again, if you're watching us in the Mid-Ohio Valley update coverage area, I am going to give you a pre-apology once again. We have multiple tornado warnings now. You can see on your screen here. Warning number 1 to the northwest. And I'm going to have to get the Dayton radar back in view here because I would imagine that that's likely what they're... Oh, yes. Absolutely. They're west of Troy. Yes, I see that. Yes. Okay, let's go over to the Dayton radar real quick. Let's flip over here. A new tornado warning that includes Piqua and Troy. That goes until 4:15. Here's the Dayton radar. There's your area of rotation. Possible tornado in here near Dilt's Corners. That is just to the west of Troy, moving off to the northeast. That looks pretty ominous. That's the best signature we've seen all day. That is just west of I-75. If you're on I-75 right now, I would encourage you to get off the road as soon as possible. Find a more substantial shelter, convenience store, gas station, fast food restaurant, somewhere that has a roof that can protect you. Your car, not a great place to be during a tornado of any kind. So a new tornado warning now until 4:15. This includes Covington, Pleasant Hill, Troy, Fletcher, Piqua, Lockington. This does not quite include Sydney, but it is close enough. We may see this extended depending on how this storm trends. So there's your area of rotation. There's the terminal Doppler and radar from Dayton right there. We're looking back to the west. Very low-level scan, I may add. And we're getting a very good look at a very strong couplet on the velocity signature there, just west of Dilt's Corners. That's along Arthur Road, and there's it's going to be County Road 35, County Road 33, McCaig Road. I-75 is there off to the right. So there's I-75, and you move into Troy, and this is the area of interest. And this is the best signature we've seen all day, especially from a radar site. Could be a tornado here. If there's one down, that's where it's going to be. That's moving off towards Piqua. Latest scan now has jumped it now to the northeast. So there's Farrington, and Piqua's up there at the top of your screen. So I'll bring it out just a little bit so you can see that. So that could be a tornado on the ground, okay? That is situation number 1 that we're dealing with. Severe thunderstorming now for Clinton and Highland County. So now we're going to need to jump back to the south because I do want to touch base on the tornado warning and the severe thunderstorm warning. The Weather Service in Clinton, or in Wilmington, I should say, is probably in shelter now. At this point, if I had to guess, let's switch back over to the main. So this is kind of our main tracking system, but right here near Wilmington now, this is going to be kind of a muddy look at this because we're so close to the radar site. Oh my goodness, yes. There's another one. Near Clarksville, very strong indication of rotation right there. That's concerning right there. So another area of rotation that is strong, by the way, coming into Clinton County right now. Very close to the Wilmington Air Park, Wilmington Airport, and the National Weather Service in Wilmington. Those offices, that's all together right there. and that is of grave concern. This is not what we want to see. There's I-71, and so we now have two tornadic circulations. One there near Clarksville, and we'll take you back to the one near Dayton. This is to the north of Dayton now, I should say, there towards Piqua at this point. Okay, so those are areas number 1 and number 2 for rotation, both of which could have tornadoes ongoing based on those velocity signatures. That's very compelling. Let's look at correlation coefficient. It's clear at this time. All right, let me get Brant in here real quick. He says he's able to join me for just a few minutes. Again, multiple tornado warnings ongoing here. So bear with me for just a second. You're going to hear a couple different things here. We kind of get Brant on board. I'll wait for him to answer me. And I think I may have just lost him. So again, we're getting another member of our team in here for just a few minutes. See if I can get him in here real quick, and we'll get him added in. But while we're waiting for him again, folks, Weather Service in Wilmington now likely going to have to take shelter at this time as a tornado warned storm with a pretty good velocity reading is coming right towards their office. And Brant, can you hear me? Okay, let me bring in Brant. This is not good for the Wilmington office. There's an airport, Wilmington Air Park. There's a lot of airplanes out here. The Weather Service is likely in shelter now, I would imagine to say at this point. And that's a pretty good-looking signature just west of the office there.
Yeah, and it's one of the healthiest signatures we've seen all day. And it's moving pretty quickly, Nick. It's as you said, the National Weather Service, the office issuing this warning is actually directly in the path of this, and it is very close to the radar. So we're getting a very close look at the low-level base of that storm. And, we always talk about, when we talk about these tornado warnings, the elevation or the radar beam, it kind of works to a disadvantage for us, seeing, the radar beam is straight and the Earth is curved. So the further away you get from the radar, the further up in the storm you look, and we're looking very low, almost at the base of this storm right now, Nick. And it is that's a very concerning signature. Monitoring the correlation coefficient, you hear us talk about that a lot. That is our debris tracker. It shows us anything that isn't non-meteorological items, such as a 2x4, a piece of sheet metal, a mattress, anything that's not something that is supposed to be in the air. It shows us there. And Nick, the good news is right now we're not seeing anything on that end, but definitely that signature looks like it might have just broken up a bit there, Nick, as that new scan comes in there. But definitely that one scan ago, that was definitely very concerning, heading just looks like it's going to skirt just north of downtown Wilmington.
Absolutely, and I've just switched over to the terminal Doppler out of Dayton real quick. That signature also looks a little weaker now, just to the south of Piqua. Now, that one a little while ago that was the strongest we'd seen all day, and then we've also had the one down here near Clarksville, also fairly intense as well. This circulation, we're looking right next to the terminal Doppler. This is kind of the best case situation when we have these tornado warnings. If they're closer to the radar sites, we can get a really low-level look at them. Now, that circulation near Piqua, much weaker, but there's still an ongoing tornado warning. Piqua's a decent population. Does not include Sidney just yet, but it is just to your south. If you're on I-75, get off the road if you possibly can. Same for I-71. Brant, that's also a pretty heavily traveled interstate between Cincinnati and Columbus. And if that's going to miss Wilmington, that may cross I-71. And with the time of day, that's not a very good place to be right now either.
No, and that's unfortunately the one of the highest places we see deaths from severe storms is unaware drivers, because you're focusing on the road and you're not focusing on the surroundings around you. But it is very dangerous to drive during severe weather, and this is definitely not a case where you want to be driving, Nick. They just updated that warning, and I'm looking for anything that they might have changed, and they don't confirm anything on the ground right now. It's still radar indicated rotation. I'm checking the correlation coefficient one more time, and We might have something in there just north of Clarksville, but I'm not convinced. There's a lot of noise there since we are so close to the radar. But Nick, we did talk about this yesterday. That you listen to some posts that are floating around of the devastating tornado that hit New Orleans last night, and those were very large tornadoes, and some, in fact, the day before in Texas were long track tornadoes. But we mentioned that I think our main concern today would have been quick spin-up tornadoes, and I think that's what we're seeing. With the quick tightening velocities, and then it kind of breaks up, and then it tightens back up again. So luckily we haven't seen any long-lived tornadoes today, and I hope we don't. I hope we stick with these very short-lived, very weak-looking tornadoes. But we do have that severe thunderstorm watch and the tornado watch out until 9 and 10 o'clock tonight, so we need to keep everybody on their toes.
Absolutely. Real quick, from the Wilmington office, the warning that is for Miami County, prior to that warning being issued, there was a report of a funnel cloud on Ohio Route 571 at I-75 near Tipp City, which is actually outside of the current tornado warning, and that's not surprising, and I want to show you why that is. Let's go back over to the Dayton radar. Again, we have the terminal Doppler in Dayton gives us a very close look. And that would be this area right here, which still shows some weak rotation in between New Carlisle and Christiansburg. It's very broad and weak. I don't see anything clear-cut, but again, there was a report of a funnel cloud right here. There's the intersection of 571 and 75 in Tipp City. There was no report exactly which way they were looking, but if they were looking in Tipp City itself, that would be the part of the storm that's now moved east. And Brant, one other piece of good news, that signature to the north coming into Piqua, the radar signature still looks pretty decent on the reflectivity side. The velocity side has weakened substantially, which is a good sign. Again, Piqua's a pretty decent population, but that's moving right up 75. So anybody heading north on 75, they're going to be riding right into this for some time.
Yep, and that's another case, just like the storm that is about to cross I-71 in Clinton and Greene counties. That's another case where we don't want people driving on I-75 in Montgomery County. Nick, you said that signature broke up. I'm not seeing much on the radar. Again, we are fairly close to that terminal Doppler, and that is a smaller radar, but that does give us a lower beam height to this storm, so it gives us a better idea of what's going on. And the storms do look mean on radar. The velocity is coming and going, but definitely we don't want anybody driving right now.
Yeah, and back down to Clarksville real quick, that velocity signature appears to have picked back up just a little bit once again, and Tyler Phillips just pointed that out. Thanks for that. West of Wilmington now, again, the Weather Service office is actually within that cone of silence. So the good news is this is going to miss the radar. We can't afford to lose that today. We did have a radar that went offline due to a nearby tornado hit in Texas a couple days ago. Thankfully, it wasn't on direct hit, but that velocity signature, let me draw it back on the radar for you, has certainly picked back up a little bit in between. It's kind of a triangle here between Harveysburg, Clarksville, Wilmington. That is of pretty decent concern there. Correlation coefficient, it's really, man, that's really hard to tell. I can't say if there's anything there or not. It's so close to the radar site. Just, again, kind of out of a course of least regret. Just get to your safe place. You're in the polygon, and kind of echoing one of our favorite meteorologists, James Smith, we always respect the polygon. If you're in it, you take action. If you're not, you don't. And if those of you in Xenia and Jamestown, this does not include you, although Jamestown, you are pretty close to it, but this does not include the city of Xenia. Obviously, so many folks are, if you live in that Xenia area, obviously you likely have some memories, or you've heard of some stories of some historic tornadoes that have gone through there. This does not include you. But Brant, that reflectivity side now from the Wilmington storm looks a little bit more well-defined. There's definitely a little bit of a hook showing up there north of Clarksville, but it's small. This is not a big storm by any means.
No, and it's associated with a broader line of storms from Greene County all the way down into Claremont County. So we're seeing these little spin-up circulations along this line, Nick, and that is the circulation right now it looks like it's going to go north of Wilmington and north of the weather office, thank goodness, but not by much. It's way too close to call. So if you're in Wilmington right now, It's about 6.9 to 7 miles northwest of your of the radar site. So that is very close, Nick. Velocity doesn't look too impressive right now. Again, it's tightening up and kind of breaking up. It's kind of going through this cycle. We'll see if anything, if it tightens up and stays tight again.
Yeah, that'll be a good question I have too, and that's coming right up towards 71 now, and that'll be near the Harveysburg exit. That's going to be for Ohio Route 73. That's not far from Caesars Creek, for those of you that are familiar with the flea market down there. They'll be heading up towards 71. Jeffersonville, the outlet malls, not quite near you just yet, but obviously those are out. Some of those you have to walk outside from time to time to get from one store to another. So I'd be watching this pretty closely. If you have any plans to go out there soon, you're okay for now, but just kind of keep an eye on the sky. And they did just trim back some of the warning. Warren County has been cleared. The Wilmington office has been cleared. Now downtown Wilmington, you're still in the polygon, but the worst of that right now appears to be to the north and northwest of you, looking back up towards Miami County real quick. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Very skinny reflectivity looking up there. There's not much rotation left, if any. Getting a little bit of a noise on that particular scan. Now, there is a spot of interest near Northampton and north of New Carlisle. I'll flip it over real quick. I'll show it, and then we'll go right back to the Wilmington storm, and I'll draw it on here. It's going to be right here on 235, north of 41. It's broad, but just something to kind of keep an eye out on. Sometimes, Brant, one scan it's there, next scan it's gone. So we kind of have to almost watch every scan, get a quick inspection up and down the line, and then kind of compare it to the next scan, because sometimes from one scan to the next, it's gone. So I may have lost Brant there temporarily. I'm not sure. But that's one thing I'm kind of pointing out there, though, was that, I just lost him temporarily. New tornado warning for Clark, Miami, and Champaign. So just as I was calling that out, a new tornado warning for that storm that's coming through New Carlisle. So that's a new tornado warning now for Clark and Champaign counties. This includes the city of Urbana until 4:30. And this is for radar-indicated rotation that continues to move northeast out of New Carlisle. And we were just looking at this at the terminal Doppler out of the Dayton area. We were watching. There's actually a secondary area of rotation that I want to keep my eye on towards Huber Heights and west of Enon at this point in time. It's a little bit straight right now, but we'll have to watch and see if that changes. So new tornado warning here now. Weather Service indicating radar rotation currently near New Carlisle, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. This one is tightening up real quick. I'll get you over to the Dayton radar and show you that in just a few minutes. Locations impacted include Urbana, St. Paris, Christiansburg, Rosewood, Terre Haute, State Road 41, Lake State Park, Millerstown, Westville, and Thackeray. Let's get you over to the terminal Doppler out of Dayton. I was just pointing this out, an area of rotation, and sure enough, the Weather Service has issued a new tornado warning. This rotation is just to the southeast of Christiansburg, north of Dodo, and northwest of Northampton. It's going to be this spot right here on 235, just to the south of Ohio Route 55 that goes from Terre Haute to Christiansburg. Weak rotation, but it's there. And what we're seeing is an inflow notch coming in on the northeastern side and precipitation wrapping back around on the south and southeast side, and there's your rotation. Again, there could be something in the developing stages here, but we want you to be in a safe place right now. Downtown Urbana, you are in the polygon. You need to be taking shelter immediately until this storm passes you. Those of you in the Piqua County storm that has a tornado warning near Lockington, we've got a good look at this one too. Maybe a little bit of something trying to develop there near Lockington, but I'm not seeing much right now. We'll have to monitor, and we'll have to see what happens over the next several minutes here. Just want to make sure that Brant's okay. I lost in there for just a second, so I just wanted to be sure. But again, a new tornado warning there that goes until 4:15 for Clark and 4:30 for Clark and Champaign counties. Let's jump back down to the south real quick near Wilmington, where we have a continuing tornado warning for northern Clinton and southeastern Greene County, and this goes until 4:15. Radar indicated rotation. The Weather Service in let's see here. Okay, Weather Service in Wilmington continue to monitor this very closely. The velocity signatures down here have been kind of pulsing up and down, But there certainly is something here near I-71 and State Road 73, just to the east of that intersection there, and east of that exit ramp that takes you to either Wilmington or Harveysburg. That could be something developing. Let's look at correlation coefficient. Okay, that's looking clear, so that's good. There's your reflectivity. Still looks pretty decent right now as we continue to move through portions of Clinton County. Bear with me one second. All right, there's your latest reflectivity. And folks, that looks pretty compelling. I would be shocked if there is not something down right now here in Clinton County. That is very, very compelling. Okay, there's certainly an inflow notch there, and there's certainly plenty of rear inflow coming in on the backside there now northwest of Wilmington. I would venture to say that's probably the best signature we've seen all day right there. If you're north of Wilmington towards Port William and Bowersville, get into a safe place immediately. There is a growing concern for a tornado on the ground or in its developing stages. Again, it's not been confirmed at this point, but that is a very dangerous looking radar signature, in one of which we have a rear inflow notch and also an inflow notch out ahead of this. There's certainly some circulation there, and we're looking at the base velocity showing that as well. Back up into Clark County and Champaign County. Tornado warning continues here until 4:30. Let's jump you back to the north. There you have it right there near Christiansburg. Now, this also looks just a touch weaker, but it's still there. I want to point out that you still have some rotation here, and for all intents and purposes, that cell north of Pickwood, they're probably just going to let that warning expire on time, just based on what we've been kind of watching. They're also watching several other areas at this point in time. But again, downtown Urbana, you are in the warning. This does not include Springfield or Mechanicsburg or North Lewisburg. This will stay west and north of you at this time. But this is where I would be watching for the potential of a very brief tornado. Nothing back near Pickwood at this point. I think that warning will likely expire early. That one was set to expire at 4:15, but I think that will expire early. Let's jump back down to Wilmington. This is the strongest signature of the day. And at this point, I think we may potentially have a tornado on the ground based on what we're seeing. So let's jump back to Wilmington. This storm right here looks very intense. Again, that's just north of the Weather Service office. Reflectivity, still showing that very clearly. Now, again, we're kind of close to the radar site, so it's going to be really tough to see exactly what's going on. But I can tell you just based on what we're seeing on the velocity side, you've got your reds and greens that are pretty tight in here. Okay, so your reds are going one way, your greens are going another, and there's your rotation. Okay, and that's pretty intense. That close to the radar site, that's pretty intense at this point in time. So, and again, Clark County, you are under a tornado warning, but it is the northwestern portion of the county, near Northampton, north of New Carlisle, even well north of Donaldsville. This does also include Champaign County. Let's get you back over to reflectivity. Again, you can see, and this is kind of an embedded line segment, so if you're going to see a tornado out of this one here in Champaign County, it's going to likely be embedded in rain, and you're not going to see a whole lot of it. Okay, you're not going to be able to see much of anything. They've actually, wow, that's a stunning move there. They've canceled the tornado warning for Clinton and Greene County. I'm really shocked by that. There is certainly something here. I did not expect that. Okay, there's certainly something there, I think, in my opinion. Clark County has now been dropped out of the tornado warning. So that's a piece of good news there. It's just Champaign County. Okay. So near Christiansburg, it certainly is trying to ramp back up again. Let's go back over to the Dayton terminal. Right here near Darnell and Thackeray. Okay, that's going to be right in here. A little bit of an inflow coming back in there. Precipitation trying to wrap back around on the backside. Okay, nothing from Wilmington as to what's going on with that cell there in Clinton County. I really thought there was something there, and there could still be. I'd be in a safe place still if you're north of Wilmington, even though there's no warning. That's dangerous looking. Here to Champaign County, Darnell, Thackeray, and then eventually Westville, maybe as far north as Eris and Millerstown. Looks like they just updated the warning again for Champaign County. Okay, new tornado warning now for Clinton, Fayette, and Greene County. New tornado warning. They've changed. Okay, I see what they did here. So they changed the direction of the polygon based on the track. So this now does include Jamestown, Shawnee Hills, Jeffersonville. If you are at the outlet malls in Jeffersonville, get inside a safe place immediately and do not go outside right now. Okay, there's several outlet malls out there. I know it's during the week, but this is very concerning. So this is now radar indicated rotation moving to the northeast out of Clinton County, north of the Wilmington office. That's heading towards Shawnee Hills, Bowersville, Port William, and eventually maybe as far northeast as Jeffersonville. Jamestown, you're in the warning. Does not include Cedarville, does not include Xenia, does not include Yellow Springs or Beaver Creek or Spring Valley. This is the southeastern portion of the county. And again, we've been watching. This is probably one of the more longer-lived, and I say that just as the velocity signature is weakening a little bit, but this is one of the longer-lived rotation signatures that we had. It's going to be right here near Port William. I just had to switch it back over. I apologize, but again, a new tornado warning now here for portions of Clinton, Fayette, and Greene counties. This is going to be for a radar indicated rotation. Again, it has been stronger. I'll put it into motion for you. You can kind of see as it's coming in here just a little bit. I'll back it up a little bit for you. So you can kind of see reds and greens were a little tighter. Now they've loosened up just a little bit. This storm may cycle back and forth a little bit, but nevertheless they will continue the tornado warning. And I think what they were doing, I'll go back to the previous polygon. Okay, they noticed that the cell may be trying to trend a little further to the north. So the previous warning included west of Wilmington, and then it started to turn more north-northeast. So they've reshaped the polygon and now included more communities that could be in the path of this downstream. So that's kind of what they're doing and kind of their logic behind that. They've now canceled the tornado warning for Miami and Shelby County. That's not surprising. Tornado warning, wow, let's look at this one here to southwestern Champaign County. That is really wrapped up. But the Dayton terminal Doppler not showing that as much. The reflectivity there from the Wilmington radar, that looks pretty impressive right there. Wrapped up there east of Christiansburg, heading for Westville and staying west of Urbana, I think, at this point. Again, that's not been confirmed on the ground, but that's very compelling as well. Sometimes you can get a rain-wrapped tornado kind of embedded within that area of reflectivity right there. So that'll be interesting to kind of watch over the next several minutes. Again, I know we may be still live over on the Mid-Ohio Valley. I understand that there are several thunderstorms that may need attention over there. Hocking County, Vinton County, Athens County, portions of Gallia County, Noble County in southeast Ohio, Mason County in West Virginia, all those areas. Excuse me, I'm going to take a quick drink of water here. All of those areas are seeing some thunderstorm activity that's pretty strong at this time, and any one of those could go warned. Let's get you back into Fayette, Greene, and Clinton counties, where we have a tornado warning that has been issued here. It goes until 4:30, radar indicated rotation. Velocity has slacked off again, but again, that can kind of come and go from time to time. Let's take you back to the cell in Champaign County. Rotation continues, and it is rain-wrapped rotation. Right over Darnell and Thackeray. We hope that you guys are in a safe place at this point in time. That means you're going to need to be below the ground if possible. Put as many walls between you and the outside. Okay. Let's look at see if there's any other updates here at this point in time. Again, if you happen to lose our stream, we are live over on YouTube as well. So if you happen to lose us here on Facebook, you can go over and watch us on the Ohio News and Weather side on YouTube for some continuing coverage. If you happen to maybe lose power or you lose connection, you can always head over there as well. So current time is 4:05 p.m. I'm forecasting Rick Dunn. Thanks for joining me here this afternoon. You're currently looking live at a tornado warning with the velocity signature overlaid there in Champaign County. Now, when you look at the velocity, it may not look that interesting, okay? But the concern here is we have an inflow notch coming in on the front side and also a rear inflow coming way in from the back and kind of wrapping in. So this entire area is kind of rotating here west of downtown Urbana. Now, downtown Urbana, while I do think that the worst of that stays west of you, and the tornadic circulation would pass towards Eris and Northville, you're still in the polygon, so I want you to stay in your safe place at this time. Okay, so there's a quick look at the polygon. Westville, Urbana still in the polygon, so stay in your safe place. This does not include Springfield or Mechanicsburg or Lewisburg at this point, but certainly need to remain vigilant as to what's going on. Now, the stronger storm to the south that had a longer-lived velocity coupler with it is now exiting portions of Clinton County, moving into Greene County towards Shawnee Hills and Bowersville. Now, Jeffersonville, again, the outlet malls are out there. They're outside. I would not be outside right now, trying to get any inkling as to what's going on with this storm whatsoever. We're starting to get a couple delayed reports in out of Athens County of some damage. That's not surprising whatsoever. So we're continuing to monitor all of this activity. There's a lot going on here this afternoon for just now joining us. If you've been joining us for some time, we still have some active strong storms. They're not severe, but some active strong storms in northwest Ohio coming through Defiance and down towards Lima and St. Mary's. This line segment is not severe, but it could turn severe at any time. It was severe for a while, but that has since slacked off quite a bit. There's again been a report of a tree down there in Mercer County. That's been about the extent of the reports up in northwest Ohio. I kind of thought maybe today that would kind of be the favored area for tornadic activity, but it has been the Miami Valley, and that's to no surprise. We've seen several tornado warnings down here today already. I believe this is number 4 and 5 we're working on right now. So, but again, northwest Ohio, Toledo, Bowling Green, Findlay, coming into Lima right now, some pretty heavy rain, but downstream here, Bowling Green, Findlay, maybe down towards Kenton, up to Toledo, and even towards Detroit, these showers and storms will continue to progress northeast. Down to the south, though, this is where we have our 2 active tornado warnings. And again, I know those of you, this may still be live over on the Mid-Ohio Valley Weather Update. I apologize for we have not gotten to you in some time. We've had multiple tornado warnings. I promise we will go over to you and get you a more localized update there as soon as we have tornado warning free here across western Ohio. If I have a quick second, we'll bounce over. So let's go down to Greene County. This thunderstorm here has kind of broken itself off now from the main line and is now perhaps showing some renewed signs of maybe wanting to intensify that rotation once again. And that's going to be south of Shawnee Hills, north of Port William now, and I would say Clinton County. At this point, you are in the clear. But they do say that the strength of the rotation is currently weakening in both warnings, but I do think we will see them continue for at least a little while longer. Now, once these clear, we'll have to kind of see if we get a brief break in some of the warning action. And I will say down here to southeast Ohio, let's have a quick look over here. We have a few moments while the rotations have weakened in both storms. I'm currently watching that cell west of Urbana on a third monitor. I've got 3 different monitors over here, plus phones and tablets and all kinds of different things, trying to watch everything for you at one time. But I will tell you that if you live in southeast Ohio, lots of lightning, very loud thunderstorms coming through Gallipolis and Cheshire down to Crown City. These storms are intense. They're not quite severe, but there certainly could be some hail with them over the next little while. So just kind of be prepared for that. We could see this increased and go severe at any time. To the north, coming through Athens, you've seen several rounds of showers already. Some continued thunderstorms for you, Athens, Nelsonville up to Logan. These are not severe. Also a strong storm coming into Caldwell right now as well in Noble County. They're along I-77, so be prepared for that. Some small to moderate sized hail possibly with that one. Clinton County, you've been taken out of the tornado warning at this point. Some updates here. Area of concern is out of Clinton County at this point. We completely agree with that altogether. Now the latest reflectivity scan shows what we like to, kind of a newer term. Again, we've kind of learned some of these things at some of these symposiums we've attended. A little bit of a reflectivity nub, or as Owen sometimes will call it, a phalange here. Champaign County tornado warning canceled, by the way. So now we're down to just this one down here into Greene and Fayette counties. So, and that's going to be primarily, I think, a Greene County issue. But south of Shawnee Hills, we are still seeing signs of rotation. And again, it doesn't look that great on radar, I have to say. It certainly not look very good on radar in terms of trying to find a clear-cut spot where there could be something going on. But on the reflectivity side, you can see a little bit of a reflectivity nub or a tail, and maybe a new hook trying to develop here. The storm has kind of occluded itself away, or kind of broken itself away, I should say, from the primary line of storms that was kind of broken and extended down into Clinton County, and we'll watch that very closely to kind of see how things transpire. Mason County, West Virginia, yeah, that's looking like a pretty good hailer there. Thanks, Ken. We'll get to that here in just a few minutes. Okay. So at this point, this is our lone tornado warning, and we now have a new severe thunderstorm warning. Let's jump over here to West Virginia real quick. And this is not tagged tornado possible, but nevertheless a potential hailer, as Ken said. And looks like a carbon copy of what we saw earlier in Pike and Scioto counties in terms of the returns on radar. Goodness, that is a very healthy looking return there on radar. They've warned it only for nickel-sized hail, but I think we're going to see some larger hail than that. We could see up to quarter-sized hail, maybe a little bit larger on that one. Okay, so new severe thunderstorm warning now. This includes portions of Meigs County, Ohio. This also includes portions of Mason, Jackson, Wood, and Work counties in West Virginia. This goes until 5 o'clock p.m. Radar indicated nickel-sized hail winds to 60 miles per hour, but folks, again, I think that could be dropping some bigger hail. There's some very dark purples down there towards Crown City and moving out of Crown City towards Leon in the next few minutes. Gallipolis, some very heavy thunderstorm activity for you, but the severe portion of that is off to your southeast. I know we have some fans and things of that nature down there, so but there's certainly some gusty winds at the very least. Back to the tornado warning, the Weather Service in Wilmington says that they are monitoring the reflectivity, some redevelopment in Greene and Fayette counties, and yes, we certainly echo that statement, and we see that as well here south of Shawnee Hills. We were just pointing this out a few minutes ago. We'll take you back to velocity. While again, velocity is not very well defined. Again, we're still kind of close to the radar, so perhaps not the best of looks there, but we still have an active tornado warning that goes until 4:30 for east central Greene County, northwestern Fayette County. Main concern here, radar indicated rotation. Not really much of a hail threat, and I would say at this point, if you're in Jeffersonville, if you're at the outlet malls, you can come out of your safe place at this point. Give me 1 second here again. Okay. So we're trying to stay hydrated here this afternoon as well, so I can continue to talk with you. We've been on the air here for over 2.5 hours at this point. So there's the latest reflectivity scan for you. Looks like the Weather Service has issued, or Storm Prediction Center has issued a mesoscale discussion. Okay. So here's what we continue to monitor right now. Does not look like much. An ongoing tornado warning. This is our only active tornado warning at this point, and hopefully it stays that way. But heading up here towards Jamestown, you're next in line here for this rotation. So if you happen to live in that area, or if you know somebody that does, hopefully they're in their safe place right now, and we'll watch that over the next few minutes and see if that evolves into anything. But they're near Jamestown. The storm that at one point may have had a tornado on the ground, unconfirmed, but certainly had some strong rotation for a while down towards Clarksville, is moving into your neck of the woods right now. So be in a safe place until this storm has passed through your area and that we've given you an all clear. 15 more minutes. Elsewhere across the areas, Columbus, just again, some light showers moving through. You had some downpours earlier. Not sure why that was picking up rotation in Knox County. It's certainly not happening there right now. Line segment coming through Lima. This is a lot of lightning here in northwest Ohio. Let's take a quick look at this. This is a ton of lightning west of I-75, and I'm only jumping away from the tornado warning for a few minutes. Just want to kind of update some other things that we're watching here into Henry and Fulton County. Just downpours, torrential downpours, pockets of hail, lots of lightning, and some gusty winds. Down into Putnam County and Allen County, they've issued some special weather statements here for wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour and even 55, and those will be quickly moving towards I-75, towards Toledo, Bowling Green, and Findlay once it exits the Lima area. Right now, the Weather Service in Cleveland is not mentioning anything regarding an issuance of warnings, but they are watching things very closely to see if warnings are going to have to be issued, I would imagine. Even though they've not come out and said it, I'm sure they're watching it very closely. Okay. All right, let's jump back to Greene and Fayette counties real quick. Okay, this signature coming into Jamestown now. Shawnee Hills, the worst of it is passing you right now. Bowersville, you're in the clear. Jeffersonville, you're in the clear as well at this point. It's going to be 35 heading west out of Jeffersonville off of 71. If we're moving into Greene County, things are pretty dangerous right now. Excuse me. Let's get an updated track on this too, where this is heading. And that's a little too far due northeast, so let's update the track here. This is almost kind of more north-northeast. I need to get a movement here too. This is at 40, so we'll put it about 50. Alright, so this is moving off to the northeast at closer to 50 miles per hour, so we'll just kind of... I like to move it a little bit faster just because sometimes radar data is a little bit delayed. But Jamestown, it's coming to your neck of the woods right now as we're speaking. South Solon at 429, South Charleston 434, London at 444. If this holds together, I think it may pass just to the west of London, but nevertheless, I want you to be prepared. Now that scan right there, I would venture to say that the tornado threat has diminished significantly just based on that scan alone. Okay? So that's where things stand at this point in time. Again, if you've been joining us here for the better part of the last couple of hours, I'm forecaster Nick Dunn. We continue to monitor severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings. We do have one severe thunderstorm warning down in the Middle Ohio Valley. A ton of lightning with this one, and there's actually a secondary concern of a strong thunderstorm potentially going supercellular now south of Huntington, West Virginia. This will cross into Lawrence, Gallia, and Mason counties not long after this cell passes out here, so it could be inactive another hour or so, potentially for some of these communities. So look at some updates here real quick. Okay. They do maintain the slight risk of severe weather, by the way, or the elevated risk for severe weather at this point. That's not surprising given the current trends that we're seeing. Not surprising whatsoever. Okay. All right, so at this point, very large hail could potentially be falling in now, based on this latest scan, down here to Mason County. I think we're starting to see a supercell look taking place, and we can kind of see that just based on the overall look at this. You can kind of see a little bit of a kidney bean type looking structure here. It's not overly well defined just yet, but it is trying to get to that point here over the next little bit. So let's watch and see what happens with this one. But large hail potentially falling. Now this would be ping pong ball size hail according to the radar algorithm. We've not really received a lot of reports of hail today, surprisingly. We've seen a few reports, nothing major, but we'll have to watch and see if that changes over the next little while. But ping pong ball size hail on the radar algorithm, I would venture to say more like quarter size hail, more than likely is what could be falling down to the ground. And based on this, a brief potential for accumulating hail once again. I'm going to put that prediction out there solely for the fact, and we have a new severe thunderstorm right now for Randolph County, Indiana. It's for actually a secondary line of thunderstorms that's moving through behind the main line. So we'll look at that in just a second. But again, a brief potential for some accumulating hail for communities like Leon as you're heading up there, up US 35 out of Buffalo, West Virginia, heading towards Leon up there. Maybe some brief accumulating hail to quarter size could cause some problems. And then again, there's a secondary storm behind that down here towards Fort Gray and Louisa, south of Huntington, West Virginia, that could cause some problems too. Let's jump here to Randolph County. Tornado warning continues, by the way, for Greene and northwestern Fayette County for another 9 minutes. I'm just not seeing much in the way of rotation at this point, or much in the way of anything concerning yet. That would lead me to believe that we're going to see a continuance of this tornado warning. But nevertheless, Jamestown, give it another minute or two and you will be in the clear. Jeffersonville, you've been removed from the warning, but still some heavy rain and some thunder and lightning may still move through your neck of the woods here very soon. Okay, back to the west now, Randolph County. This will be a hailer at this point. This is going to be for quarter-size hail, winds to 60 miles per hour in Randolph County, coming through Winchester, now north of Lynn, and this will be moving to the northeast, and this may eventually clip portions of Jay, Darke, and Mercer counties. Was not really anticipating this stuff becoming severe, but I think it's more of a hail threat at this point in time. So we'll continue to watch all those very closely. Down back to our tornado warning here real quick, and I'm going to refer back to the Weather Service again. They continue tornado warning, which means that there must still be watching this for some renewed development, and we are too. But this will eventually head up towards London. Now the latest scan may take it more towards London as we approach that 4:45 time frame. Give me 1 second here. All right. Okay, tornado warning now canceled for Fayette and Greene County. So that has now been allowed to expire. So we are now tornado warning free, but we still have severe thunderstorm warnings. So give me a second here, I'll change the bottom of this for you. And we'll take it back to severe thunderstorm warning. So that'll drop off the screen, but we could return for that one potentially in the next little while. So we'll watch things very closely here, and we'll watch that. But we have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings now. Number 1, here into Randolph County. This goes until 5 o'clock. Potentially very large hail now showing up on the radar here, southeast of Winchester. That's moving to the northeast towards Union City, then across Indiana, Route 32. And that is now east of US 27. Lightning appears to have dropped off. There was a substantial amount down here into northwestern Wayne County around Economy and in towards Lynn. And that appears to have dropped off just a little bit, but we'll watch and see. Working our way back to the southeast again, that tornado warning has been allowed to expire. That'll drop off the screen. And sometimes those things take a couple minutes, and that'll also drop off the ticker here in just a few minutes as well. As you can see from the one for Champaign and Clark, that's been allowed to expire already. That'll drop off the ticker there once it's been allowed to expire. Moving back into West Virginia now. Let me check and see if we're still live over on the Middle Ohio Valley Weather Update. We may or may not be. So give me just a second to take a look here. Let me see if I can get this to pull back up. All right, well, while we're waiting for this, you can still see we have an ongoing severe thunderstorm warning here from Mason County, also into portions of Meigs County and Jackson County in West Virginia, and then portions of Wirt and Wood County in West Virginia as well. And you can see we have a rather large thunderstorm here capable of producing some pretty big size hail. And again, there could be some brief accumulating hail with this one. I would be interested to see what we get out of this over the next few minutes here as we continue to move forward. Give me one second. Okay. Quick update here. Weather Service offices not showing a whole lot. Okay, they have now issued a severe thunderstorm warning in Charleston. Okay, that's down to the south. Okay. So make sure I'm not missing anything as we continue to go forward here. Nickel-sized hail in Henry County, Northwest Ohio. Not surprising. Okay. All right, so I just wanted to kind of check out some of those things. Yeah, we know how we stop. We've got a lot of you watching here, and I was looking to see if we're still live over on the MOV, and we still are. Okay, good. So if you're watching us over on the Middle Ohio Valley Weather Update, we are watching what may be turning into a stronger-looking supercell. Sometimes these things take a little while to really organize and strengthen, but a supercell is defined by the southern flank of this sometimes having a little bit heavier lightning and the northern flank having some heavier rain. The southern flank would be where we would have that tornado potential. So, okay, so that's kind of what we're watching. So, little bit of an inflow notch maybe here, but the overall shape and structure of the storm continues to remain pretty consistent. There is a good amount of hail, I think, on the northern end of this. If you're up here towards Leon, you may be seeing some pretty, I won't say overly large hail, but there currently could be some hail falling there in that area. So that's just kind of the way things look there. That will track northeast. Let's get you a track on this. And this is moving off here to the northeast at about, wow, they've got it moving at 70 miles per hour. So we'll go ahead and match that just for ensuring that we're allowing as much lead time as possible. So Leon, it's over you pretty much right now. Ravenswood 442, Mineral Wells 459, and then into Belmont at 515, Ellenboro 517, St. Mary's at 517. All those communities there are in West Virginia. So that's a quick look at the track on that one. A couple other stronger storms I do want to show you a quick track on, one of which is here into Noble County. This will be crossing into portions of Guernsey and Belmont counties. Now, if we take that one to the north at about 60 miles per hour, Batesville, Salesville, Quaker City, Barnesville, Holloway, Flushing, and Cadiz just through the 5 o'clock hour. We'll see if they elect to issue any kind of warnings on that one. Perry County, a strong storm coming through here as well. We'll take that one off to the northeast at about speeds of 60 miles per hour. And we are watching that for heading towards the north. Zanesville, Dresden, Conesville, and Coshocton, should those current trends and tracks continue there, moving out of Perry and into Muskingum and Coshocton counties. Let's take you back into the Wilmington area. Again, the tornado warning has been allowed to expire for Greene and Fayette County. There you see it there off the screen now. There are still some signs of a strong storm. It may try to reorganize. I'm not overly impressed with it at this point. Weather Service in Indianapolis continues severe thunderstorm for Randolph County. That's about to cross into Darke County, and I think we will likely see a new warning issued for Darke and maybe even portions of Mercer County too. Let's see if I can get a good look at that. Yeah, not quite yet from the terminal Doppler in Dayton, but I'll continue to watch that. Where we had a tornado warning, it is trying to resurface itself just a little bit here towards South Solon and south of South Charleston. Try to say that a couple times fast. But this one here, moving towards London, not overly fast, but it is approaching. So head towards London as we get closer to that 4:45 time frame. The speed on that will have to be monitored too as we head for the next few minutes. Weather Service in Pittsburgh tracking those storms down in Belmont, Monroe, Guernsey, Harrison, and Monroe counties. We could see some stronger storms there over the next little bit. And an area of interest now for some new development. Brant and Tyler both are reporting some sunshine. And looking out my window here in Columbus, I'll kind of repeat some of that. We have a little bit of sun. New area of development right in here. This is an area that we haven't seen some activity in some time, so we may have to watch this for new warning issuances and new thunderstorms developing down here in south central and southwest Ohio. So just kind of remember that I pointed that out at about 4:30, and we'll see what happens here over the next little bit. So we've been on air here with you now for approaching 3 hours, and we've enjoyed every bit of it, and we hope that everybody's staying safe out there this afternoon with these passing showers and storms. We've been warning you now for a couple days that this was going to happen, and sure enough, this is what we're getting. So at this point right now, what we are going to do, while we do have a little bit of a brief, I won't call it a break per se, but a little bit of a lull in some of the activity, I'm going to do a quick reset here, try to gather some reports for a few minutes. We're not going to be off the air long. I will come back live here with some updated severe weather coverage here on the networks of Bell Park Weather here shortly. But for the time being, I'm forecasting done reporting for our entire team here. Thanks for tuning in here this afternoon. Severe thunderstorm warnings real quick as a quick recap. We are not going to see a new warning for Darke or Mercer County yet, but there is a strong storm coming out of Randolph County. Severe thunderstorm warning for large hail until 5 o'clock. That will likely expire well in advance. We have a severe thunderstorm warning there for hail for Randolph County until 5 p.m. And then in southeast Ohio, Meigs County, a severe thunderstorm warning until 5 o'clock. And then also for Wood, Wirt, Mason, and Jackson counties, a severe thunderstorm warning there in West Virginia until 5 o'clock. Large hail, the primary concern there. Only warned for nickel-sized hail, but we could see some larger hail falling as that approaches Ripley and the I-77 and US 33 corridors here very soon, exiting out of Pomeroy and down into West Virginia. So stay tuned for more updates right here on Bell Park Weather Network. I'm forecaster Nick Dunn reporting.